D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. We hope you are having a wonderful start to your Wednesday, a nice day in our fair city. Right before the show, Derek Mason learned a new word.
Yeah.
Tendy.
Tendies. And listen, I'm born in 74. And, hey, listen, I was born in 74, but I could reach even further back because of the way I was brought up, music and coach and all that other stuff. But, back in my day, when I was growing up, around 18, 15, 14, somewhere around, I don't know. When somebody came up to me and said, man, did you see those? I'm going to get some tendies. Or did you see those tendies? I'm thinking about, hey, tenderonis, New Edition, Bobby Brown, tenderonis, ladies,
Michael Jackson,
Michael
PYT.
Jackson, exactly. I'm thinking okay, you got your nice little tenderoni, okay.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
But that's not what they're talking about, Willie. This new group of individuals, this new group of humans, as I would say, they have broken down tendies. They're really chicken tenders.
The kids
and
call them tendies.
They have taken chicken tenders and they have taken it and narrowed it down or windowed it down to tendies. That's unbelievable.
Willie,
that is unbelievable.
Were you familiar with the term tendies before we just talked about it?
I on both fronts, yes. Old school and new school.
So you knew about the new school tendies?
I'd heard of it, yeah. I'm with you. I gravitate towards the first.
Let me take off my glass. I'm sitting here with my glass on.
David is enjoying some
forgot.
chicken tenders. And I said, oh, you got some tendies. And Derek Mason's like, where are the ladies at?
I'm like, man, listen. When you say tendies, it's like you're thinking tenderonis,
The antennae go up.
Yeah, it's like tenderonis, man. I got you a nice little tenderoni, okay? I even told my son that one day. I said, so you going to, meet a little tenderoni?
Yeah.
We're like, what are you talking about, man?
Well, it's funny. Like, remember Bobby Brown had the big album. When he went solo?
Yes.
And one of the songs, Roni.
Yes. Tenderoni.
As in tenderoni, yes. It took me a little bit to figure that out. So it's a little slow back then, but I got there.
So I guess we did it too. We shortened the words.
I thought it was, hey, this is a girl. What's her name? Her name is Roni. No, we're talking about
tenderoni. Yeah. Tenderoni. Truth about it, sweet little girl.
That's right.
Look, my goal
that very much predates the tendies.
Nice
yes. Look, my goal is for
I'd say
somebody to learn
hip.
something.
The old school is more hip in this case.
I mean, I don't call them tendies. I'm too old for that.
Yeah, I just say chicken tenders.
But my goal every day is for somebody to learn something. So Derek Mason learned something even before the show started. So I'm feeling great.
Yes.
I'm feeling great. And I actually did want to start the show on a heartwarming note. The Predators were back at practice today. We will discuss the Predators during the 4 o'clock hour, but the Predators were back at practice today. And UC Saros unveiled a special Hockey Fights Cancer mask, which honors 4 members of the Predators family who have been affected by cancer. There's Craig Partnerbaugh, the beloved longtime dressing room attendant, Sheila Crisp, the wife of Terry Crisp, Lexi Rogers, the daughter of Pete Rogers, the head equipment manager, and Aaron Donick. And I saw that, and I saw the portrait of Aaron on UC Saros' mask, and Willie, it gave me all the feels. I can only imagine how you felt when you saw it for the first time.
I saw it this morning. UC was wearing it this morning at practice. I had seen the mask in its making.
Mm-hmm.
I had a sneak preview of it while the team was on the road here recently. Pete Rogers was nice enough to call me back and show it to me. I still don't know if I've found the right words to express what a gesture that was from UC. It was his idea. He came up with it all of a sudden. It's not like the organization went to him or anything like that. He went to Pete Rogers, said, this is what I would like to do. I got a text from UC. It was funny, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
I got a text late in the summer, maybe a couple weeks before training camp, and he said, "Willie, this is UC."
You see who?
And I was like, okay. I had never gotten a text from him before. Obviously, I've known him since he was 20 years old, right? He came up as a very young man in the system. But he texted and said, "This is what I would like to do. I'm so sorry to hear about Aaron." I had not seen him since Aaron passed in July. But, of course, it took me 1 second to say what an unbelievable idea. And if you know UC at all, he is not about himself in the least. He doesn't, English is his second language. He speaks great English, but he is not an outgoing guy that is ready to get into long conversations. But you can see into a guy's heart, and so it's amazing what he's doing. And so I really hope it's a special atmosphere on Saturday. I know it will be. And you root for a guy like that. That's all I can say. It's awesome.
So I thought we should start the show on that note because there's been a lot of negativity around Nashville sports lately, and understandably so. But it was an incredible gesture by UC Saros to honor Aaron, who he missed deeply every single day, as well as others in the Predators organization who have been affected by cancer, on his mask, which he will wear on Saturday. So here's the question I want to ask about the latest college football playoff rankings. What should we complain about this week? Because there's always something to complain about. Vanderbilt remains at number 14. I wondered how far Alabama was going to drop. Alabama dropped 6 places to number 10, behind Notre Dame at 8-2. We can't complain about brand bias with Alabama and Notre Dame the same way we can with Vanderbilt and Notre Dame. But a lot of people curious about Alabama falling behind Notre Dame. They have identical records, but no one can argue that Alabama has played a tougher schedule. So perhaps we can complain about that. The projected 12-team bracket based on the current rankings: Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, Georgia 4. They would all receive buys into the quarterfinals. The first round matchups: number 12 Tulane at number 5 Texas Tech, number 9 Notre Dame at number 8 Oklahoma, number 11 Miami at number 6 Ole Miss, and number 10 Alabama at number 7 Oregon. So Derek, what should we complain about this week when it comes to the CFP rankings?
I mean, the thing for me is, after it's all said and done, one of the committee members come out and they give their spiel, and each and every time it's just like, man, whatever. Okay, let's wait until next week to see what y'all do. You throw a lot of big words out there, and it doesn't really equate to anything. Vandy, I just keep looking at Vandy, and it's going to, even at 10-2, and this is why, because they're setting it up in a way where Vandy needs to have more happen than I think they should. Outside of them winning the remainder 2 games, which they must do, and I fully understand that. And I know that you try not to, put the cart before the horse, but even at 10-2, they're making it so hard for a Vanderbilt 10-2 to get in. They argued about Indiana's schedule last year, but they still put them in, and they were always ranked. They were never sort of outside the way Vanderbilt is, and their schedule was nowhere near as hard as Vanderbilt last year. But I guess because of all of the hoopla and all this other stuff, they're trying to recorrect themselves. So a team like Vanderbilt, if indeed they do win the remainder of their games, it seems like they need to have more happen in front of them than any other 10-2 team. And I'm talking about the brand teams. That's really what I'm talking about in this situation. And granted, I know they got to win both of their games, and there's not too much that I need to, like, within the top 12 that you can complain too much about. I mean, you can Alabama, okay, but other than that, I just think they're a 10-2 team like Vanderbilt. They're making it extremely hard for them to crack that top 12.
Heather Dinich of ESPN, Willie, wrote this about Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt jumped ahead of the 3-loss Longhorns despite the head-to-head loss at Texas. And by the way, Texas dropped from 10th to 17th. So I think we can say that Texas is done. We've wondered if the Longhorns...
Do we, though?
Yeah, we don't know. They
beat Texas A&M?
Mm-hmm.
Other things happen?
No.
It's not likely, but
I would say it's more likely than not that Texas is done. We'll get to that in just a second. Here's what Heather Dinich wrote. Vanderbilt jumped ahead of the 3-loss Longhorns despite the head-to-head loss to Texas, but remains a long shot for the field as an at-large bid. The Commodores would need to beat Kentucky and Tennessee, plus hope there is some chaos above them. Maybe if Alabama loses to Auburn in the Iron Bowl, Miami loses to Pitt, and BYU loses to Cincinnati, it can open the door. But clearly multiple things need to work in their favor.
But multiple things over a 2-week stretch will happen. I don't know if what Vanderbilt needs will happen, but of course it all starts with what?
Them winning.
Vanderbilt has to win the 2 games.
Yes.
I'm not going to say anything to complain until they win the 2 games. You win the 2 games, then you're going to want to hear my reaction on the show one way or the other.
Yes.
The Monday after that game, because if you put 10-2 in the SEC in the bank and throw it out there, I would say 8 out of 10 years, at least. This is a new field. We don't know, but I would think 8 out of 10 years, you're going to be in there.
And we're going to assume that Notre Dame is going to be 10-2 because the Fighting Irish only have to play Syracuse and Stanford to close the season.
Crazy stuff happens. And it may not be to Notre Dame. There's a lot of teams that have to win out, and there's a lot of teams that have 1 or 2 games. That's why we have underdog picks. Stuff happens.
But Heather
But
Dinich
win the
is
game.
telling you right here that these are the things that need to happen. Like that other stuff. But if Vandy, first and foremost, they got to win their last 2 games. You lose one of them, then this conversation is mute.
Exactly.
But if indeed the road that we're traveling, they're already telling Vanderbilt, even at 10-2,
good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, good luck. Even at 10-2, good luck.
The only this is the brand bias thing. If Notre Dame were 8-2 with those two games remaining, would it be the same sort of written off unless they get help kind of thing? I don't know. Historically, I think we do know that brand bias is a thing.
If this was UT, they still would
you can
be
name any
them.
group of about 30 teams that have been there before, have traditionally had powerhouse teams. I do wonder if it would be that simple to say, need some help, long shot. I don't think so. 10-2 in the SEC. Oh, they haven't beaten ranked. If that were Tennessee, if that were Florida, if that were Alabama, I don't think so.
Notre Dame's best wins this season are USC, Navy, and Pitt, and USC is the only one of those teams that is ranked this week.
Okay, so look, I'm going to save it.
Okay.
You're seeing glimpses.
Yeah.
It's spilling out of me.
It's
Sorry.
It's simmering.
Dang it. I didn't want to do that. Do it. Let's beat Kentucky first. Coach Willie is coming
Coach
back.
Willie, go away.
We don't want Coach Willie now.
Go away,
We
Coach
want
Willie.
I just don't
guy.
appreciate the, with Vanderbilt, it's a nice story. They need some help, though. It's not going to happen.
Vanderbilt.
They need a lot of help. The teams were ranked at the time, but that doesn't mean anything now.
Let's get 16 teams in there. Okay, let's just add it up to 16, and then everybody can get in. So we're gonna have the. But then again, there's still somebody left out.
I look. I'm not
Stuart
one.
Mandel is really good. He wrote a whole article. I didn't even put Vanderbilt in there. He didn't even put him in there.
You wind.
He's like,
wind him up and let him go.
SEC could get 5. Oh my gosh. Did I say they might get 6? Holy cow. Vanderbilt not even mentioned. You could put him in there as a courtesy. Good grief. I get it. It's seeping out of me, guys. Sorry.
We feel you, Willie.
They got to win the 2 games, though. Win
Yes,
the 2
they
games.
do have to win the 2 games. You're right.
It's a moot point if they don't win the 2 games.
One texter says, in no universe are Utah, BYU, or Notre Dame more deserving with their records. Another texter says Notre Dame gets credit for 2 good losses, but Vandy does not get credit for 2 quality losses.
Hey, that's the way it is. They're telling you right now. That's the way it is. And it's unfortunate, but I think Vandy understands that right now they're not in a position to say anything.
You can't say anything. You didn't hear Clark Lee on our show say anything.
So it's just like, man, we play the teams that are on our schedule, and we just got to finish it out. We finish it out the way we know we can. Then that's when, the noise will start. But it can't start until after the UT game.
And all I can say is it can turn. We've seen it. And I will give the example of 1998, the year that Tennessee won it. It really looked like they were going to play UCLA or Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
They both lost. I mean, it was so weird. Florida State ended up being the team that Tennessee played for the title. And a lot had to happen for Florida State to get to that game. And it happened.
But that was on a 2-man field back then.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a two-team field.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying that you can think it's
so
all locked
things,
in.
Yeah.
This is
what
it's going to be. And it turns on a dime with somebody losing that isn't supposed to lose.
I'm not one to leap to the defense of Alabama fans, but I do think Crimson Tide fans have a reason to be angry today about falling behind Notre Dame. They have the same records.
Yes.
But Alabama, a much tougher schedule, a better strength of record. Notre Dame, man. Notre Dame is
Notre Dame. They're Notre Dame.
They're like Teflon. They're like Teflon.
Yes.
You can't ding Notre Dame because they're Notre Dame, apparently. So I'm not one to be like, Alabama fans, you have a reason to be angry. I do think Alabama fans have a reason to be angry.
I agree. And this is me, the SEC snob, coming out. And sometimes D-Mace and I clash over my SEC snobbery. And I'm not one of these guys. Some people are just Notre Dame. You say Notre Dame, they can't stand Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like that. I appreciate Notre Dame. But from this standpoint, I think it's hard for the SEC, but I deep down believe it's true. Mississippi, pick whoever you think are the worst 4 teams in the SEC. I will tell you that those teams, I believe, I'm not a football player, I'm not a coach. Let's just say, pick out Auburn, Mississippi State, South Carolina, name a fourth in there. Arkansas. You tell me those 4 teams aren't capable of beating a top 25 team any week. Like, Florida's not far from that group of 4. They beat Texas. Beat them pretty easy when you get down to it. On the right day, like Arizona State went to Mississippi State, which was supposed to be the worst team in the league. They got beat in Starkville. There are no easy games in that league. And you can't have all of the bids. So I understand that. You have to have some national balance. But there's no comparison in the strength of schedule and the strength of record between Alabama and Notre Dame. It's not even close. Am I wrong?
No,
not even close. Not even close.
But like Adam said, that gold helmet is laced with Teflon. Lined with Teflon. There's nothing penetrating that. They even made a movie, Rudy. And they make a movie about your school. They like you are forever in. Like, if you are even close, you're in. But these are the things that
Rudy was offside, by the way.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, they didn't.
Someone had to say it. Someone had to say it.
I've never heard that one before.
Go back and watch. Rudy.
Did
was
you
offside.
break the tape down frame by frame?
No, but that's a popular
Don't
joke.
tell my cousin. My cousin loves that movie so much. She is a huge favorite. If you tell her that Rudy's offside, we're gonna have a fight.
She gonna lose it.
Oh man!
But no, Notre Dame will always. I believe that's why Notre Dame chooses to stay independent, because that brand, and it's not like Notre Dame has had their moment in the desert, but it wasn't long. but usually Notre Dame is that team that's, they're always on television. It's a brand name everywhere. And they're going to continue to stay independent because it helps them in this situation, especially in this field. If they were to get in the SEC, I'm not sure if that Teflon would hold up. In the Big Ten, yeah, probably, but not in the SEC.
615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on the latest CFP rankings. What should we complain about this week? Let us know. 615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Coming up next, yesterday, we were discussing the apparently lackluster 2026 quarterback class for the upcoming draft and how that could affect the Titans. Well, earlier today, a prominent NFL draft analyst released his latest mock draft with a mock trade involving the Titans. And I want to discuss that coming up next. 615-737-1025. One texter says, "Go Rudy, LOL." He was offside. 615-737-1025. Predators fans, Smashville Live returns tonight at Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue at 6 o'clock. See your Predator star players up close and personal and get autographs and pictures. Preds player guests tonight, Ryan O'Reilly and Matt Wood. Ryan O'Reilly and Matt Wood. You can meet them and hear them on Smashville Live. That's tonight at Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue and only on 102.5 The Game.
We're going to slow this one down for D-Mace. This one's requested by Derek Mason.
He's my only love, my only heart, baby. Man, that used to go hard.
I'd love to be one of the background singers for this. And I need a big group where you don't hear my voice. I'm just kind of, maybe you don't even turn my mic on very high. Maybe it's on like 1.
You
But I'm
wanna
just
be a
kind of
part
back
the
there.
band.
I'm just kind of back there with the headset on, just trying to chime in.
Oh man,
A lot of people in their cars in the mood for loving now.
Yeah.
ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Believe me.
Nothing wrong with some car love.
Love it every day if you can. Every day.
Just saying.
There
Just
you go.
saying.
Huh? No, I shouldn't say that.
Anyway, I showed you all the clip during the break of Rudy clearly jumping offside. So Rudy was
Yeah.
offside.
I don't know if it's
He
clear.
flinched.
He
We
flinched.
need
did
another.
flinch.
There was a flinch.
There was a flinch.
That's
It was a
clear.
flinch, yeah.
The
There was a
question is,
flinch.
did he get into the neutral zone?
You can't
might need
really
a
tell from
second
the camera
down
angle.
the line. We need a camera down the line.
And my thing is, Rudy didn't have a sack in that game. I don't think he had a sack. I think they made that up.
Oh, in real life.
Yeah, in real life, I
Yeah.
don't think he had a sack. So why did they, if that is indeed the case, why did they lead us to believe that Rudy got a sack?
Hollywood, man. It's
I think
Hollywood.
that's the
But it
answer.
was
There's
based-
a
it was
lot
true
that was
story.
wrong in that story.
Yes.
Like Joe Montana has talked about how there's a lot
Yes,
wrong.
and
Ah,
they made
in that
it
story.
seem like
Yes.
Rudy came out there, the crowd was yelling, Rudy, Rudy. Then they put him in and he got a sack.
And the
Like,
Jersey
that-
scene,
Yeah, that don't happen.
the Jersey scene where it's like, let Rudy have this. Let Rudy take my place.
No, that doesn't happen.
You're an All-American, dude.
That doesn't happen. No,
Now,
it
okay, this is a good question from that I wondered. Because you mentioned, David, that Joe Montana, I think, at one point did sort of set the record straight on what was exaggerated, what was real. And he definitely admitted there were some things in the movie that he doesn't recall happening quite like that.
Mhm.
So if you were on that team in the movie, let's say you had an appreciation for Rudy,
Uh-huh.
would you be the guy that said, "No, that didn't happen"?
You damn right I would
Would
be.
you?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't happen that way. Rudy was great, but it didn't happen that way. Like Rudy
You would
should
go
come,
public
Rudy should come out and go
because
public.
you have a choice. Like, oh, it's a good movie, you know.
It's a feel good movie. But I'm saying if somebody
Because
asked
Joe
me-
Montana, he took some heat for that.
Yeah,
Like,
but
Joe,
if somebody-
come on, man,
if somebody asked me, I wouldn't come out and just like if the conversation wasn't about it and say, y'all know what? Remember that movie, Rudy?
Yeah.
It was. I would if somebody asked me about it, I'd be like, I would say, well, that I don't recall any of that happening. You know,
yeah.
Rudy was cool, but the way y'all drew up the story, like Rudy should have made it to the
Would
the
you do it, Alex?
NFL and the Hall of Fame. The way they wrote up that story.
Rudy is 77. There is still time to correct the record.
Exactly. Rudy need to correct the record. He has it.
There's
At
still
least I
time.
don't know if he has.
There's still time.
But would you do it, Adam? If you were on the team, would you say, "Hey, man, they took some liberties"?
Adam
with that.
would do it. He would. If somebody asked him, he would.
I want the truth.
It depends on how much my royalty check is. Just
They
being
giving it
honest.
If you were
You,
in
they
on
giving
the,
it to
on the
Rudy.
tape, you might have said, "Oh yeah, that happened. I was there."
If you add a couple more zeros to that check,
Everything
everything
in the movie's
in the
accurate.
movie happened exactly.
All
I
right.
heard
You would
all
not be
those
talking-
screams.
You
as
would
it
not be
happened.
talking about how Rudy was offside. if that
No,
were
I
the
would
case.
not.
All proceeds goes to Notre Dame Incorporated. That's-
The Notre
Joel,
Dame NIL movement.
Joel on our text line says, I will not stand for any Rudy slander. One texter says, Rudy is not as good a movie as people act like it is.
Ooh, I'm not
That's a
touching that
take.
one.
You know that I
I'm not
like-
touching it.
You know that I like starting fights in the text line.
Yes.
615-737-1025. We will get to that. Okay. So yesterday we talked about multiple stories describing the lackluster 2026 quarterback class for the upcoming draft and how that could affect the Titans if the Titans indeed have the number 1 overall pick. And I don't even need to go to my favorite website, tankathon.com, to tell you that the Titans, of course, are still in position to have the number 1 overall pick again. And then today, Matt Miller of ESPN.com published his latest 2026 NFL mock draft. And as we talked about yesterday, it's a sad world out there when you're looking at these mock drafts 6 months before the actual draft, but that's where we are in Nashville with the Tennessee Titans. So, I'm curious. I want to see who he has going to the Titans. So I scroll down and I see projected trade. Jets move up to number 1 overall. The Jets in Matt Miller's mock draft started with the 4th overall pick. So the Jets traded up with the Titans from 4 to 1. Here was what Matt Miller wrote, quote, armed with 2 first-round picks and an additional second-round pick in 2026, thanks to the deadline trades of Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, the Jets are moving up to Tennessee's spot at number 1 in this mock draft. Since the Titans used their 2025 number 1 pick on Cam Ward, they could be persuaded to move down and accumulate draft capital to build around their young quarterback. In this deal, the Jets would send both of their first-round picks, numbers 4 and 28, and their 2027 second-round pick to the Titans for the top selection. The Jets in this mock draft take Fernando Mendoza with the number 1 overall pick. But let's just talk about the projected trade for a moment, because we were talking about the value of trading up. He has the Jets sending 2 first-round picks, numbers 4 and 28, and a second-round pick in 2027 to take the number 1 overall pick from the Tennessee Titans. Armchair GMs Willie and Derek, if that offer came across your table, numbers 4 and 28 in this year's draft plus a second-round pick in next year's draft, would you take that projected trade from the Jets? Willie, why don't you go first?
I would take the. I hesitate to say that you wouldn't get anything better, because that's not the best offer I've ever heard for a first overall pick. But it just seems like right now, as we talk through this, where there's not an obvious Andrew Luck or somebody like this at the top of the draft, I think I would take the deal. I think I would take the deal. I would love to have a first next year, but 2 firsts, right? You get 4 and 28, so you get 2 firsts plus a top, maybe top 40 pick next year. I don't know how good the Jets will be next year. I think I would take the deal, and I might take it quick before they change their mind.
Derek, would you take the proposed deal by Matt Miller of ESPN, 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick to move up from 4 to 1 with the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, I would. Because one, typically if it at that number 1 spot, you want a quarterback. Obviously, Titans don't need a quarterback, but they do need picks, and they do need talent. So that's first and foremost. You're able to accomplish one of your goals, getting so many, top whatever picks in so many years. So this helps facilitate that. This can sort of squash a little bit of what, people felt you didn't do during the trade deadline, which is trade Jeffrey Simmons to get, accumulate more picks. This may squash it just the tad bit, if indeed you can make a deal like that. But then even further than that, if, you're picking 4, so you still get a top 5 player, and you may end up getting the guy that you want first. And then that pick at 28, this is where it can truly benefit you, because there's always that one team that want to get into late into the first round, because their guy, they see maybe he get taken or a guy drops, far in the draft in the first round. They figure, oh, we need to get him right now. So there's a possibility that the Titans can accumulate more picks for that 28th pick in the upcoming draft. So based upon that alone, because you will end up getting multiple picks, but based on that alone, I would take it. I would have originally liked, another second round pick, possibly in 28. But I think this one there's nothing wrong with taking a deal like this, I believe.
In Matt Miller's mock draft, he has the Titans taking wide receiver Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State with the 4th overall pick, and cornerback Colton Hood out of Tennessee with the 28th overall pick. But to answer my own question, would I take that projected trade? 2 first-round picks this year and a second-round pick next year. Preferably, I would like another high-end pick. I would like one more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
maybe I would love to get another first-round pick, because the Jets are just They're overflowing with first round
But
picks.
what did I'm referencing it to the trade with Chicago and who was that?
Carolina.
Carolina and Jacksonville last season.
Oh, you're talking about the Travis Hunter?
Yeah, Travis Hunter when
Or
they
the
moved
Bryce Young?
The Bryce Young. What did they get in the Bryce Young? I
Well,
think it was the Bryce Young.
but that was a much bigger move up. I believe the Panthers were at 9 when they moved up. So that I'll have to
I
look
believe
at.
that's right.
I'll have to look at
But
what
what
that
did
trade
they
was.
get? What I'm saying is, I thought they got 2 first. They got 2 second rounds. If I can recall, it was either that one or the Chicago where they got 2 second round picks.
Okay, here's a story from March of 2023. The Bears are trading the number 1 pick in the 2023 draft to the Panthers in exchange for 4 draft picks and DJ Moore. The Bears will receive Carolina's first round selection at number 9, a late second round pick, a 2024 first round selection, and a 2025 second round pick.
See, they end up getting 2 first rounds, but they were not in the same year.
Correct.
And they end up getting 2 second rounders. So based upon that, that's why I said I would have liked another high round pick, as you two suggested as well.
615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Matt Miller, in his latest mock draft, simulates a trade between the Titans and the Jets. The Jets move up from 4 to 1 and give the Titans both of their first round picks, numbers 4 and 28, and a 2027 second round pick. Would you accept that trade if you were Mike Borgonzi in this situation? 615-737-1025. We'll get to your reaction coming up next. 94.9 The Fan is your home for Vanderbilt women's basketball tonight. The Commodores take on Western Kentucky at 6:30. Pregame starts at 6:15.
Okay, let's talk Loan Pronto. The Daily Word, rapid equity loan. Loan Pronto delivering low interest rates. Lowest rates in 3 years are going on right now. If you got stuck with a high interest mortgage, get that number down. Refi right now. And if you need money from your home's equity, they can get it to you and get it to you quick. That's the purpose of the rapid equity loan. You can get your cash in as little as 3 days. You can pay off other bills, high interest credit card bills that are eating up your monthly budget just with the interest. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. When you go through this exercise, there's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are a 3-year low, so act now. Loan Pronto, 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780, or loanpronto.com. Get that instant home appraisal for free. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
D Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. One texter said, unrelated to our topic, but we will get to this in the next segment. One texter said, maybe Bill Haslam needs to call loan pronto to get a good rate on the Trotz and Burnett buyouts. We'll get to the Predators at the top of the hour. But the question we have, 615-737-1025. Matt Miller, ESPN NFL draft analyst, has his latest mock draft out. I'm not sure if this is his first one, but it's his latest one. And he had a projected trade between the Jets and the Titans. The Titans have the number 1 overall pick. The Jets have the 4th. The Jets move up from 4 to 1 to take Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback out of Indiana, and in the process, give up 2 first-round picks in 2026, numbers 4 and 28, plus a 2027 second-round pick to the Titans. So that's 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder to move down from 1 to 4. So our question is, if you were in charge of the Titans, if you were Mike Borgonzi, would you accept that deal, or would you want more? Our friend Dustin in Hopkinsville says you can probably take pick number 4 and trade it back as well. I want 1 more pick, though.
I mean, that is a possibility if you're sitting at 4 and you believe that the guy you want will still be there after the 4th pick in the draft. Then there is a possibility if someone's trying to move up to get someone else that you can possibly drop 2 to 3 spots. But I think the 28th pick is a spot where that will tend to happen. It's happened at the top too, but I would rely on that 28th pick, saying somebody wants to get up into the first round, late first round, possibly draft their future quarterback late in the first, and they feel if they don't move up into the first, then someone's going to get them in the second. So they're willing to, give up a second and possibly even a third for your first round pick, or they may be able to give up or want to give up a little bit more than that. It just depends. But that 28th pick can probably be more so a pick you're gonna gain some dividends from.
When it comes to what the Titans should do, I'm clearly on team trade down. I wasn't gung-ho about the Titans drafting Cam Ward at number 1 overall, but I did support the decision. Willie clearly was on team trade down. He'll tell you that if you ask him.
True.
Mm-hmm. So Wes in Clarksville. We have so many Wes's. Wes in Clarksville says, we could give Levis another shot, trade Cam and trade first-round pick and get lots of help for Levis. I'm only kidding, but wouldn't that be something?
Anytime you throw out anybody's name,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'm a skeptic on Levis just like everybody else, but Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, the success stories of these guys definitely have opened up the thought of, if you look at how many people have crashed and burned as high first-round picks where you went out of your way to go get a guy and you don't get anything close to as special as you want with that high of an investment. And then you couple that with the recent chain of resurgent guys who were high first-round picks that were cast aside. You give them a second chance. You don't pay a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones would be front and center. Sam Darnold last year. Those guys, they were Will Levis, kind of. True? On a level?
They were
comparable.
certainly cast off.
Yes.
I mean, they were higher picks. Will Levis wasn't even a first-round pick.
Right.
Sam Darnold was absolutely run out of town by the Jets. Like, this guy's terrible. Get him out of here. Like,
spent a year as a backup before going to Minnesota
right.
and having
then
a great
went to
season.
Carolina, and they didn't even keep him. So, before you cast anybody aside and say, forget about that guy, I do wonder if that changes anybody's thinking on a larger scale.
One texter says maybe the Titans can get Sonny Weaver Jr. to come work his magic on draft day. Speaking of unrealistic football movies, draft day. You guys have seen Draft Day, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, It's so bad. It's good.
I want all my
it's so bad
picks
it's good?
back.
And David Putney. We need the special teamer.
I just heard it was bad, and so I didn't waste the time. But if
You
you're
need to
telling me
watch
it's
it.
so bad it's good,
It's so
That's
bad.
that's a different class of bad movie.
Yeah, that's a class of movie you got to watch.
Just skip past the parts where Diddy's in it
Okay.
because
If obvious reasons.
Yeah,
Do I need to spell them out? I can't
Nah.
say them on the air.
I mean we all know. I wouldn't skip.
Just
over it.
fast forward past the Diddy parts, and you'll be okay.
Just let it play out.
One texter said, this is funny. One texter, Eli, says, I would love to give the Rams or San Francisco a 4th round pick. They take Cam Ward for a year and then give him back to us.
Hey, if that was
Let
if
the
that was able to-
Shanahan, McVay magic work on Cam Ward for a season and then toss him back out there. I mean, look,
or we
the-
can borrow their coach for a season or two.
the next quarterback in the Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield group is going to be Mac Jones. Mac
Mhm.
Jones backed up Brock Purdy in San Francisco, has started multiple games. Mac Jones is going to be it may not work out the same way as Daniel Jones has worked out in Indianapolis, but Mac Jones is
He'll get the
going to
opportunity.
be he's going to be that quarterback this offseason.
And probably get paid more than Daniel Jones, just because there might be a little more faith in the bounce back idea. And also,
Mhm.
Daniel Jones is about to get paid,
Oh, of course.
and they'll gladly pay it because he's done it for them.
Lenny on our text line says draft day was based on a true story. That can't be true, can it?
Was it?
There's
It was
no way.
There's
no way.
Lenny,
Maybe
are you
like-
pulling my chain?
Maybe like a little bit of it, but there's no way because there's no NFL GM that said, I'm going to make all those trades, but I want all my picks back. There's no way they said that.
Yeah, one of the GMs in the movie isn't Neil Patrick Harris, but looks a lot like Neil Patrick Harris, and Jennifer Garner's in it, and Terry Crews is in it. And Dennis Leary is in it. It's a very strange movie. It's one of those perfect, like, it's on the plane. You're on an hour and a half flight, and
You
need,
watch it.
and you need some really mind-numbing movie to watch for 90 minutes. It's the perfect movie for that. Robert on our text line says, considering what we're doing now with Cam, with everything that they've added, the old line, the receivers, whatever upgrades we did over the offseason, I'd say, Levis did pretty damn good with what he had. Look, this is, I mentioned this the other day. This Will Levis revisionist history thing is a really popular talking point on our text line, on social media.
The guy's hurt too.
The Will Levis thing is over. Will Levis is
Okay,
not
but-
going to play another snap for the Tennessee Titans.
Are you sure?
No, he won't.
He won't.
will not.
You're
He-
100%.
He's 100%.
I'm
sure.
Based on what-
99.999% sure.
Mac Jones, Daniel Jones.
Unless there's an injury that Cam can't come back from, then no, he won't. They're
I'm
going
talking about just on the team
on the team.
as the backup.
No, because they're going to go out there and get another backup. A new coach is going to want a new
But
backup.
let me throw another name in there. Malik Willis. So we're so sure that Will Levis, who you have under contract, cheap, is a guy that we just need to get him out here. And you look what Malik Willis is going to get a good contract from somebody. Very good. He came in there again last week and did pretty well. Anytime he's gone in there, he's done well. And you have Mac Jones, you have Daniel Jones, and you're just going to throw Will Levis out and say it's impossible. I don't know.
Again,
I'm just saying keep him as a backup. I'm just entertaining the idea.
keeping him as a backup, you can do it if you're a team, but the player's not. Will Levis wants to be a starter. And
He's under contract. He doesn't have a say in it.
I understand this. He can push it. They can push it behind the scenes.
What is he? He's got no
And
leverage.
It doesn't matter.
Push it all you want.
His leverage is he wants to be out here, and his agent will facilitate a trade because there are enough teams out there that need quarterbacks that he's going to be ready to throw pretty soon here, I'm sure. The season's done, but and I've said this before, he want to make sure that once free agency come or that time period of trades and the draft, he's fully healthy. He wants to be a starter in this league, and he's not going to get an opportunity to be a starter in this league here. He can go somewhere else and get an opportunity, but I don't think he's going to get that opportunity here. So why wouldn't the Titans, who need the picks, why wouldn't they?
Okay, but what do you have in mind
facilitate
what you're going to get for
trade?
Will Levis?
You never know what even if you get a 4th round pick for him, that's good.
A ham sandwich.
Nah, I'd take more than a ham sandwich. Give me a turkey
They got a
sandwich.
7th round pick for Malik Willis, and at the time I was thinking they got something for him.
So they
That's
would
not
get
bad.
a 7th. They could possibly get a 4th or a 5th for.
But aren't you better off just keeping him around, and you never know how it could turn out? It
But
could
he
be
also doesn't
happenstance.
have the 1st round pedigree. I know it doesn't mean everything, but Mayfield and Darnold and Mac Jones and Daniel Jones were all high 1st round picks.
Mm-hmm.
Will Levis wasn't.
Right.
He
Will
was a
Levis
second-round
was
pick.
Malik Willis was a 3rd round pick.
True. I just think that Levis doesn't have the talent that the other reclamation project quarterbacks.
You never know. Again, and I said this back when I was like, Will Levis need to be. He needs not be the starter for this team again. But I've always said, I'm not saying this kid can't play in this league. He goes somewhere else, he may end up being a starter, but he's not a starter for this team.
And
He has, because the things that they're talking about with Will Levis are things that they've said about a lot of quarterbacks. And some quarterbacks have been reclamation projects, and some quarterbacks just have completely fell off the map. So with Will Levis, it's not going to work here, just like it wasn't going to work with the Jets and Sam Darnold, and it wasn't going to work with Cleveland and Baker Mayfield. No matter how good they could potentially be, it just wasn't going to work out. Will Levis, it just wasn't going to work out here. So him going somewhere else, there may be a market and a high market for him if indeed that time do come this season. This offseason.
when we talked about Will Levis during OTAs, this was before he had the shoulder surgery and missed the season. I said that they should find him a change of scenery to get rid of the distraction. Not that Will Levis himself would be a distraction, not that he would talk crap in the media or anything like that, but just having him on the roster and providing fans with the Will Levis or Cam Ward, get him out of here. It eliminates the distraction. That's the same way I'm feeling right now. Get him out of here.
Mhm.
It eliminates the distraction. If Cam Ward continues to struggle and Will Levis comes to camp next year and there's a competition, perhaps in name only, it is still a distraction, in my opinion.
But if you had the 1st overall pick 2 years ago and you have somewhere in the neighborhood of the 1st pick, how much can you distract? You can't go any lower. So why give away an asset? Now, if D-Mace is right and there is a better market than I think there is, I just wouldn't take a 6th or a 7th round pick. I would hold on to him because crazy things happen. Maybe Cam Ward gets hurt. Maybe Will Levis has to play and plays well, even if it's for 4 or 5 games, and then his trade value goes up. But I think we should be learning that a guy can look really bad, look like he doesn't belong in the league for a while, be a journeyman that has no value, and then all of a sudden be making millions and winning playoff games.
615-737-1025. I did not mean for us to get Will Levis sidetracked there, but we'll take your thoughts on that. And the Tennessee Titans, who are back on the practice field today, they take on one of those former reclamation projects, Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks, on Sunday. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, tomorrow, we will talk to Barry Trotz. Coming up next, we will talk about Barry Trotz. We'll do that next. 615-737-1025. We are presented by Bax Homeworks. Remodeling done right. Get a free estimate at baxhomeworks.com. D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. The Predators were back on the ice today for practice. Coach Andrew Burnett ran that practice. So if you're expecting the Predators to make a coaching change right now, I wouldn't hold your breath. The Predators, by the way, resume action Saturday against the league-leading Colorado Avalanche. So that could be fun. But Willie and Derek...
But you neglected the other part of the story. There is a significant story of today's practice.
Roman Josi did return to practice today.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens there.
How many? I think they won 2 or 3, maybe 2. They won the game that he got hurt in. I think they won the next game. I think they won one other game. They have missed him sorely. It'll be nice to have him back.
So Roman Josi on the ice for practice today. I don't think he's going to play on Saturday.
Why not?
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, practice full today. He wasn't in a special jersey or just on the ice. He was in the practice today.
Let's call him questionable.
Okay.
For
fair
Saturday.
enough, fair
Let's
enough.
call him questionable.
Let's see how the next couple days unfold.
For Saturday.
Interesting.
But there are a couple of complaints I hear a lot from Predators fans. First and foremost, why haven't they fired the coach? And that does not appear to be happening right now. But the other complaint I often hear from Predators fans, and our friend Wes called in at the end of the show yesterday and had a creative analogy to discuss this. But the other complaint I hear from Predators fans is, how can the Predators possibly be successful with the roster that Barry Trotz has provided for Andrew Burnett? And tomorrow at 4 o'clock, so 24 hours from now, tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we will be joined by Predators GM Barry Trotz, and we will ask him all of the questions that you want to know. But we're not going to talk to Barry Trotz today. We are going to talk about Barry Trotz today. So here's what I did. I thought it would be instructive to look back at the major transactions that Barry Trotz has made since becoming the Predators general manager a couple of years ago. And I only included, as I said, the notable transactions. So I'm not talking about random minor leaguer for future considerations. I'm talking about major trades and signings. And the reason I did that was I want to attempt to answer this question. How deep of a hole have Barry Trotz's moves dug for the Predators as they try to become competitive again? Of course, we have the benefit of hindsight, and we're not going to go through every single transaction, but I'll give you an example of the benefit of hindsight. When the Predators signed Ryan O'Reilly, Gus Nyquist, and Luke Shen on the first day of free agency in 2023, my initial thought was, this is counterintuitive, because at that point, the Predators had sold off Matthias Ekholm and Mikael Granlund, Nino Niederreiter, and Tanner Jeannot. And I thought, finally, they are embracing a true rebuild. So signing Ryan O'Reilly, Gus Nyquist, and Luke Shen to multi-year contracts didn't make a lot of sense to me. But in hindsight, those moves have worked out pretty well. Ryan O'Reilly has been a critical member of this team. He's been quite good. He'll tell you he's the worst hockey player who ever lived, but he has been quite good. Gus Nyquist had a career year out of nowhere in his early to mid-30s, and the Predators were able to flip him to the Minnesota Wild for a second-round pick. I say that was a successful signing by Barry Trotz. So in hindsight, things can change. But this, again, is the question that I want us to attempt to answer. How deep of a hole have Trotz's moves dug for the Predators as they try to become competitive again? So, Willie, as you look over Trotz's major trades and signings over the past couple of years, are you noticing any sort of theme?
I think it's not hidden. The one thing to keep in mind is he has mortgaged zero of the future. He hasn't traded off any future assets to do what he has done. And so one theme is that they have been building their farm system for the last 4 or 5 years. They haven't traded any first-round picks. What's the last time they traded the first-round pick? Ryan Hartman trade? 2018?
That's a good question.
I think that's the last time they've traded their first-round pick. So that's going way back when they won.
That sounds right.
They won the President's Trophy, and they traded their first pick to get Ryan Hartman. Since then, they have drafted in the first round at least once every year. Now, that hasn't turned into anything, but it just shows you that they have not mortgaged the future while they have gone through that. And that encompasses the last few years of David Poyle and the first couple years of Barry Trotz. So that's important to remember. And then the other part, I think, was some of this roster flaw inevitable and unfixable when he took over? In other words, regardless of what he did, were there going to be some flaws in the roster? And the gap you point out a lot, Adam, is that mid-20s range of players. They just haven't drafted special players who would be in that age range right now. They're just, even if you say, well, Ellie Tolvanen's the one that got away, that was a bad move, which was before Barry Trotz. Ellie Tolvanen's a good player. He's not a superstar player. He might be the best of who's doing well in other places that they've gotten rid of. They haven't been fortunate. They haven't drafted well to get that third round. Roman Josi was a second rounder. UC Saros was a fourth rounder, turned into special players. They've lacked that. So some of this was inevitable before Barry Trotz got there. But you would have to say that the recent moves he has made have not yielded a big uptick, especially with his philosophy is, let me see if I can get a little bit younger. Justin Barron for Alex Carrier. The Michael Bunting for Tommy Novak is a little bit of a wash. Novak hasn't really done anything for Pittsburgh as of yet. Michael Bunting has been okay, but not a needle mover for the Predators. Eustace Onanen for Scott Wedgwood, a bit of a wash, right? You have a younger goalie that hopefully can still grow. But I think he's probably going to be really zeroed in on Stamkos, Marchessault, O'Shea, who are guys that I think he thought might stem the tide and create a little more runway for that unexpected year they had 2 years ago. But none of the three have been fits with the way Andrew Brunette wanted to play, and none of them have been able to overcome the biggest weakness on the roster, which is by far one thing: playmaking centers. They just don't have those guys. And I think it's become very clear that Steven Stamkos, his style of play, he needs a playmaking center. It's like a point guard passing to a great three-point shooter. Steven Stamkos is the three-point shooter. He's not a creator. So he needs the guy to create, to get him the puck so that he can hit the three-pointer.
Can you look at it from this standpoint? Because those three guys that he brought in, Marchessault, Stamkos, and Brady Shea, of those three guys, because you're right, these great three guys, their style of play doesn't match what Andrew Brunette wants to do as a head coach. But that doesn't mean that out of these three, if we choose to keep one, which one would be a better fit for? Because right now, if you get rid of all three of them, you're still behind the 8 ball because you're still 2 years removed from an opportunity you had to basically start over. And maybe you would have been, you wouldn't have been in the position you thought you were going to be in, but I think the fan base would have gave you more grace because they would have looked at it as, okay, they're still rebuilding. And we know, and if you know hockey, you know how long it may take in a rebuild. So would it almost be better now out of those three guys, keeping one and still being able to transition to more of a faster team? And if that is the case, then which one are you willing to keep? Because you're going to have to take a hit on one or all of them. So why not trade away two, take that hit on two, but keep that third one as long as you possibly can and sort of work around that?
Adam, when you think of that summer and they splurged on the three guys, what would the alternatives have been? I can't think of players, but maybe keeping a Jason Zucker, maybe keeping Beauvillier, I don't know where Beauvillier is now. I know Zucker's played pretty well since he left, right? But he's doing it in Buffalo, I guess, for not a very good team. Is he still with Buffalo?
Who's
But
that?
Jason Zucker.
I believe he's still in Buffalo, yes.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, you had this overachieving team. Everybody was kind of excited, like pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of riding the wave, Trotz, at the time of, hey, he's made some pretty shrewd moves here. You still knew that you really didn't have the set. So you still had some flaws. So he rolled the dice and went in on those big name guys. Like, what was the alternative to do? Because if he didn't do anything, you'd still have that flaw down the middle that is, I think, the number one thing that's making it hard for them.
So I don't remember specific names of players who are also available in free agency.
It wasn't much, right?
I mentioned what the Predators did in free agency the year before that, signing Ryan O'Reilly, Gus Nyquist, and Luke Shen. If I had been in Barry Trotz's shoes, again, this is at the time, with the benefit of hindsight, those moves have been a net positive, I would say, for the Predators. But at the time, I thought, just sign veteran forwards or defensemen to one-year contracts who you can just flip at the deadline, like a Nick Foligno or a Corey Perry or a Jason Zucker. Sign him to a one-year deal. You'll probably overpay him. You're not going to be very good, but these are the types of players who teams want at the deadline. You sell high, and then you recoup assets. That's what I would have done in the summer
even
of
after
2023.
Even after 99 points and that 16-0-2 run that had everybody pretty excited about what they had done.
Look, that was an exciting
when
time.
That would be a tough sell, right? You'd
would have
have
been
some
a tough sell,
backlash from the fan base if they said, wait a minute, they just made the playoffs and they're signing Corey
Dismantle
Perry and Marcus Foligno.
I hear what you're saying.
Or Nick Foligno?
Either Foligno. All the Folignos. Lou Ferrigno. I don't even know. But that I hear you. It might have been a tough sell, but I think that we could all agree that the Predators overachieved that season. And I think it may have been more prudent to be more realistic about the situation they found themselves in, and not because here's the issue. When we look at these moves that Trotz has made, everybody is going to hone in on July 1st, 2024. Stamkos and Marchessault and Shea, and you can even throw in the re-signing of UC Saros, because that also happened on July 1st, 2024. That contract did not start until this season, but they re-signed him that same day. I think that those moves announced to the fans that the Predators were committed to winning. Trotz will talk about threading the needle and buying time, but I am adamant about this. I would love to
both. It was both. But remember, all those moves you did, you just said, headline moves, big splashes, big investments, did not mortgage the future 1%.
That is a good point.
So it was a gravy on top of the big picture goal, which was to build a new nucleus over the next 5 years or so.
Right. I hear what you're saying.
So you're trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Right. But I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when Barry Trotz talked to Steven Stamkos about coming to Nashville.
Well, they absolutely wanted to win.
Right. Steven Stamkos would not have signed here if he did not think he could win here.
100%.
And I think Barry Trotz, again, in hindsight, I do think Barry Trotz made a mistake there. Now, I did say right after that splurge that they need to win, and they need to win soon, because these players are old and you're only going to have them for so long when they're still close to their primes. And clearly we've seen where that's gone. Let's quickly go to Brad on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Brad, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hey, you guys may have already discussed this. I'm just tuning in, but I'm wondering what the Preds are using as their criteria for picking up these players. As an example, Steven Stamkos scored 40 goals his last year in Tampa Bay, but he was still minus 20. And we're wondering why. He was minus 36 for the Preds last year. We're wondering why we're having trouble. All three of those guys are defensively irresponsible. Between the three of them, right now they're minus 30. So what's his criteria when he's picking up these players?
Thank you for the call, Brad. And look, one of the major issues I had with those moves was who are specifically with Stamkos and Marchessault. Who's going to get them the puck? Willie, you made the analogy of a point guard and a three-point shooter. Steven Stamkos was playing with some of the best forwards in the NHL. He was playing with Braden Point. He was playing with Nikita Kucherov. He didn't have to do much at 5-on-5. He was not a play driver.
Yep.
He
was minus 21.
He was, by and large, a power play specialist. Jonathan Marchessault.
And an incredible power play specialist.
Absolutely. Jonathan Marchessault.
Hall of Fame power play specialist.
Yes. Jonathan Marchessault in Vegas was playing with Jack Eichel. He was playing with Jack Eichel. And they were going to come here and produce that with Tommy Novak at second line center. Like, I think, like, part of me, I do think.
But the alternative was to bring in who?
I can't tell you specific
names.
That's
my point.
Because I have to get the free agent list from 2024 in front of me. I don't have that in front of me.
But I think we know
you could have still filled holes without signing those players to those
You
contracts.
could have brought back a Jason Zucker.
Sure.
I think what would have happened, probably regardless of what you did, would have been there still would have been the big issue at center, which bit them hard last year and is biting them just as hard this year. And you would still be trying to figure out, how do I get around this flaw until I can find some help there? Nobody's giving you, just like nobody's giving you a great quarterback in football. Nobody's giving you a good center. I mean, it's hard to find those guys. So I do cut him some slack there, but at the same time, it's not like we can't say these are brilliant moves. Like you said, hindsight's 20/20.
615-737-1025. How deep of a hole do you think Barry Trotz has dug for the Predators based on the major transactions he's made over the past couple of years? 615-737-1025. We'll continue the conversation next. We'll get your reaction. Plus, Barry Trotz with some interesting comments about where the team is right now. And, of course, we'll talk to Barry Trotz tomorrow at 4 o'clock. 615-737-1025. Tonight on Totally Hits 93.3, catch MTSU men's basketball as the Blue Raiders take on Michigan, at 5:30 p.m. Coverage is also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at totallyhitsnashville.com.
Provided them.
Hey, this is Derek Mason, and you heard me tell you about Dr. Lodge and his staff over at Cool Springs MD for some time. If you set out to lose weight, chances are it's not your first time setting a resolution to shed some extra pounds only to face disappointment. But I got some news. Because at Cool Springs MD, Dr. Lodge and his team understands the frustration of this cycle, and that is why they offer a different approach to weight loss. Their comprehensive weight loss program is led by Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and addresses the root cause of weight gain with tailored nutrition, exercise, blood test supplements, and more. They will customize a program specific to you and you only. See, I know about the blood test because I had to take one today, but you know what? I forgot. And I drank some coffee with some creamer. So I got to go back Friday to get my blood test done. So people, when you're going to get your blood test done at Cool Springs MD, remember, fast. But on that note, connect with Dr. Lodge at CoolSpringsMD.com today to schedule your appointment for a personalized weight loss plan just for you. That's Cool Springs MD, where your weight loss journey becomes a success story.
D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan. Talking Barry Trotz. We will talk to Barry Trotz tomorrow. We are talking about Barry Trotz right now, and we were asking this question. How deep of a hole have Trotz's moves dug for the Predators as they try to become competitive again? And we're about to play a clip. So when the Predators were in Stockholm, Willie, you were not invited to the sit down with Barry Trotz and Penguins GM Kyle Dubas. They had a conversation over coffee.
I heard it.
And here is part of that conversation between Trotz and Dubas. Here's Trotz explaining where the Predators are right now. So that was Barry Trotz in conversation with Penguins GM Kyle Dubas for an NHL-produced video during the NHL Global Series. And he mentioned that middle group. Brian on our text line says, you talk about the future and how good it was that they didn't mortgage it. If that's such a good thing, then why does the team still have such a gap in mid-20s players? I don't think Barry Trotz can get out of the hole he's in. It's becoming obvious he's in over his head. Well, let's focus on the first part. And I'll use the Dallas Stars as an example. The Dallas Stars are often used as an example of great drafting and developing. They have all three of those groups, which is why they've been so successful. They have the older players, Jamie Benn, Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin. They've got that middle group, mid to late 20s, right? Jason Robertson, Miro Heiskanen, Rope Hintz, Jay Gottinger. Did I say Mikko Rantanen? If I did not, Mikko Rantanen. And they have the young group. Wyatt Johnston is 22 years old. Thomas Harley is 24 years old. Maverick Bourque is 24 years old. So they have all three of those groups. The Predators are missing that middle group, the mid-20s players. And look, I think that is out of Barry Trotz's hands. That's more on David Poile. Think about all of the first-round picks that did not pan out here. Philip Tomasino, by the way, recently waived by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Philip Tomasino did not pan out. Dante Fabro was waived. Eli Tolvanen was waived. Yaroslav Askarov was traded. Those players would have represented that middle group, the 23, 24, 25. That's the group the Predators are missing. That's why it's hard for the Predators, because they've got the older players, and the younger players are the ones that aren't ready yet. Brady Martin, Tanner Molendyke,
Igor Surin,
Riker Lee.
David Edstrom, did you mention?
I did not mention Edstrom. Like, there's that middle group that's missing. I don't put that on Barry Trotz.
Those are his guys. Those are the guys that they've used with the assets from the going away present left by David Poile.
Yes.
Trading Granlund, trading Ekholm, trading
Jeannot and Niederreiter.
Right. That's that group that they have cultivated. And we don't know what that's going to turn into for the Predators yet. Matt Wood is, in theory, part of that. That was their own pick. But they've only traded their first round pick once since I'm trying to think of when they last did it.
Ryan Hartman would have been the
2018
President's Trophy year, right?
Right. And before that, I'm trying to think of the last time prior to that. It was a while. I think about 2014, I think they traded.
Did they not trade a first round pick for Kyle Turris?
Nope.
That not part of the deal? Okay. I remember the Cody Friends and Mike Santorelli deal in 2015.
That was the first round
2015.
I think they traded their first round pick for those guys.
Yes.
So that's your answer, I think. Needless to say, they haven't hit. Like Roman Yossi and UC Saros are non-first round picks that fit the category you're talking about with Rope Hintz and Jason Robertson. Star players. Ironically, we're talking about the Dallas Stars, but high-end players that weren't first-round picks that you had to be awful to get access to. That mostly the mid-20s people, that has nothing to do with Barry Trotz. The guys who are 18, 19, 20, 21, those are the draftees and prospects that Barry Trotz is cultivating, that he is counting on, that ultimately I think are going to be his legacy. The point he keeps making, even in that clip with Kyle Dubas, is this was going to be the challenge in the years that he first took over, is overcoming that fact that you didn't have centers that you could count on up and down the lineup that a good team needs, and B, you didn't have that nucleus of really good players in their prime that were going to carry their weight. Maybe even not stars, but guys like Craig Smith. Think about really good role players that they had. Even an Austin Watson or a Colton Sissons for those really good teams from 2015 to 2019 that were winning playoff series, winning divisions. They won a conference championship. They won a President's Trophy. That team had all of those things that the Stars have now, right? But that window was basically closed 5 years ago, right? By 2020, would you agree, Adam, that window was probably past its prime at best?
Yes.
They haven't been that good since on paper. They've overachieved a couple of times to get to the playoffs with great goaltending, great play by Roman Yossi, who elevates others. They've overcome weaknesses to make the playoffs, but they haven't been good enough to really threaten to make deep runs in the playoffs. So It's been a flawed group to start with. And so regardless of what he did, it was going to be hard to get around the flaws, and the moves he has made certainly have not produced results since that overachieving first year.
I'm just looking at the 2016-17 Predators roster, the team that ultimately went to the Stanley Cup final. And they've got all three of those groups represented. Kevin Fiala played some key games. He was 20 years old. UC Saros was up and coming. He was 21 years old. Philip Forsberg was 22. Colton Sissons was 23. Victor Arvidsson was 23. Ryan Johansson was 24. You've got Roman Yossi at 26. Ellison Ekholm at 26. PK Subban at 27. Craig Smith at 27. Pecorini at 34. Mike Fisher at 36.
Right, so you had the blend.
They had the balance.
Yeah.
They had the balance.
You had the low 20s, the mid 20s, and the veterans.
Yes. One texter brings up, you were asking for an example of players who the Predators could have signed instead of the players that they did on July 1st, 2024. One texter says, please address why Kiefer Sherwood is no longer here. It seems that the Predators could really use him now. Isn't he one of those players in their middle 20s that the Predators are lacking? First of all, Kiefer Sherwood is 30 years old. He was a late bloomer. And look, he has 12 goals for the Canucks. That's great. He is massively overachieving for the Vancouver Canucks. But
I think that would have been something that wouldn't have blown the budget. And I do think they miss him sorely. He's not a center. Okay. So let's also not confuse him, as well as he's played, with it would not have done anything to help the biggest issue on the roster, which is center. That being said, they miss Sherwood big time. They miss him in a big way.
Angie from Mount Juliet says, if Stamkos required top players to prop him up, then why did we fleece ourselves by bringing him to Nashville? It's like buying a toy with no batteries. It's not going to work. Ugh, the decisions this team makes drive me nuts. If the Predators' style, roster construction, or pace doesn't fit Stamkos' style, then shame on us. Nashville has become a place where good players show up only to become mediocre or retire. That's not a player problem. That's an organizational trend.
I mean, that's pretty extreme. But look, I can't argue. They just haven't gotten the results that they hoped from those splashes that they made. I think what they were hoping was a player like Stamkos could help a Tommy Novak, help a young Fedor Svechkov be better than he would have been otherwise with maybe a more, quote, ordinary player. Or because the alternative, I think, are guys like Sherwood, maybe analytical overachievers, not the winning pedigree that those guys had. But this is a little bit of hindsight's 2020. If you tell me you weren't excited on July 1st when they said they were bringing in Stamkos, Marchessault, and Shea, I think you probably are lying to yourself a little bit. You weren't excited that day? Not even a little bit?
Derek, were you excited that day?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah, I mean,
why wouldn't I be?
Yeah, you had to be intrigued that they were.
It was cool.
I mean, you hear
cool.
fan bases a lot of times say, "Why didn't they go for it?" Like you can't. You got to give them that. They
I
went
was
for it.
excited when
I
they
know
did
that. I know this.
Like,
comment,
okay, who was the one we argued? Stevenson, Chandler
Stevenson.
That would have been an alternative overpay for a center because he was a center, and I argued that might be a nice pickup. Seattle overpaid to get him, and take a look at Chandler Stevenson today. He's okay, and he is a center. He would be better probably than he would be in the lineup for the Predators. He's probably
he would be their second line center right now.
Right, and probably too high in the lineup for what he really is.
Yeah.
But he would be very expensive, and you'd probably hear, why did they pay him all this money for this? But that would have been an alternative, right? These are the types of options that they had. So they were hoping to get more. I don't know if we can emphasize enough. Fedor Svechkov, he has not through. This is a quarter of the season through. I'm hoping that we will, in the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, see a better version of him. He had moments last year, right? He's not had a single moment this year in 20 games where he flashes the ability that he showed even last year. So that's one that has really stung. And he's a guy that is still only, 22?
Thereabouts.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are the issues at center. You have Eric Halla trying to play center every night. He is who he is at this point of his career, right? The shortcomings at center are also factoring into all of the issues that they're going on with right now. In fact, you could probably stem it. You can stem it from that.
615-737-1025. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the Predators as we attempt to address this question. We'll take your reaction to it as well. How deep of a hole have Barry Trotz's moves dug for the Predators as they try to become competitive again? 615-737-1025. We will continue the conversation coming up next. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
F&M Bank. It's time to bank easy on purpose. F&M Bank is our Take It to the Bank segment every Friday at 5:45, and we have enjoyed our relationship with them and their sponsorship of our show. But F&M Bank wants to build a relationship with you. They want you to be able to have access in your community to somebody you can call. You got a banking issue, your family's going through something, you've had something come up. Having a contact in your community, and that's where F&M Bank strives to be, right in the middle of your community. Whether you live in a big town like Nashville on West End Avenue, you're close by, or in a smaller town like Springfield or Mount Juliet, it's right there. And your business means more to them. They've got 20 locations in our listening area on up into Hopkinsville, Kentucky, over in Clarksville, where we have a lot of listenership. Having that contact where things come up in your life financially, they want to make your banking easy on purpose. Take that burden off of you. Just find the nearest location to you, myfmbank.com, and go from there. That's myfmbank.com. We take it to the bank every Friday at 5:45 with F&M Bank, member FDIC.
D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025, The Game. Jonathan Hutton will join us at the top of the hour. Silly Underdog Picks coming up at 5:20. I am really looking forward to that because I'm the only one who won last week. Looking forward to that. And just to entice you, last week we did have a winner representing the people. The people picked Oklahoma to upset Alabama, which happened. So the people won a prize. And that can be you this week. I'll give you the cue to call during the 5 o'clock hour. The prize is a 4-pack of tickets to see AEW Dynamite in Collision at the Pinnacle downtown a week from today, Wednesday, November 26th. So if you want those tickets, be listening in the 5 o'clock hour for the cue to call to represent the people in Silly Underdog Picks. But let's wrap up our conversation about Barry Trotz, who, again, will join us tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Let's get to some of your reaction. One texter says, would you compare starting centers in hockey to starting quarterbacks in football? And if so, why would you build up a team with no quarterback? That is from Taylor in Bellevue. Another texter says, we were promised up-tempo hockey, higher skill, faster pace, getting fans out of their seats. Then we added guys who excel in that system. So, of course, it was exciting. What we've seen since is this low-scoring, grinding hockey that is boring. That style works if you're Virginia men's basketball and win, but if you're going to grind the game to a crawl and lose, it's just not worth watching. So quickly, let's just talk about what Predators fans, I think, were expecting when the Predators hired Andrew Burnett to coach the team. Andrew Burnett had never been a full-time head coach. He was an interim head coach for most of a season after Joel Quenneville resigned. I think he coached 75 or 76 games that season in 2021, 2022. Those Florida Panthers were the highest scoring team of the salary cap era. They averaged more than 4 goals per game. They were dominant off the rush, up and down the ice. Didn't work in the playoffs, but it was fun to watch during the regular season. So I do think there were Predators fans who thought that that sort of hockey would be coming to Nashville. And we talked all offseason long, Willie. Barry Trotz asked Andrew Brunette to make changes. And unfortunately, the results are not showing that those changes have taken hold or are making the team any better. But I do think Predators fans were expecting more up-tempo hockey. Meanwhile, the Predators have been one of the worst scoring teams in the league since the start of last season. So I do think that's where some of the disconnect is as well. But let's throw around this question quickly. Our friend Jacob Underwood, who works with Willie Donick on the FanDuel Sports Network broadcast, texted this. Would fans be even more upset today had they sat out free agency 2 years ago and done nothing but sign a Nick Perbix? I think the answer is yes. How would you answer that question?
I think it was pretty impossible not to be pretty excited about that first year when they had 99 points, even though they did overachieve. And they were probably a couple weeks from rebuilding. You know, when you get down to it, they were leaning towards a rebuild. And then suddenly they caught fire. They went 16-0-2. But they got into a rhythm where every night it was up-tempo. It was how Andrew Brunette would like to play. It was fun to watch. It was contagious, right? You can't tell me that you didn't get wrapped up into that 16-0-2 run. And even in the playoff series where they had trouble scoring, it was a great series against a very tough defensive-minded Canucks team. So to come back that summer and not do anything, that I think that would have had just as much, if not more, howling that's happening now. The howling is in hindsight now of just how it turned out. But let's go back to the centers on the overachieving team 2 years ago. Ryan O'Reilly, who had a great year. Some combination of Cody Glass, who didn't really play that much, injured a lot. Colton Sissons, overachieving career year, 15 goals. Michael McCarron, career year. And Tommy Novak, who we know his ups and downs, right? Those were the centers. That team overcame that weakness. How? Roman Josi had a great year. They had Gus Nyquist had an incredible overachieving year. Like, what was the best year that you thought Gus Nyquist was capable of having?
Not that.
75 points. Everything. Philip Forsberg had a great year. UC Saros had a great second half of the year. Ryan McDonough had a great season. They just had everything clicking. That's what they were hoping would happen these last couple of years, and they haven't had anything close to that, right? But it comes down. It still comes down to, can you overcome the fact that in the system there weren't a lot of centers that were going to make it easy on whoever the coach is, and that's why I think if everybody is focused on Andrew Brunette analytically has done a lot to correct and give them a chance to be in games much more often than they were in last year, which was disastrous, right? Last year was disastrous in terms of competitive night in and night out. They just didn't defend very well. They got blown out of the water way too much. They're getting blown out less this year, but they're not explosive at all offensively. That is a flaw, and it starts with the center position and not having Roman Josi, your number one player and generator of offense.
Let's go to Alan in Donaldson on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Alan, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say that the only thing this year is we wonder why Stamkos can't do anything, and Marchessault can't do anything. They were heroes. When we thought that team was coming together, we were like, we're going to dominate. Me and my wife were like, this is us. And now all we got this year with the Titans, Vandy, and the Predators is Vandy, and we only got 3 more games possibly.
Basketball. Basketball's coming.
I just can't watch basketball. Sorry, brother.
Sorry about that, buddy.
I'm out.
Yeah, it's just
Thank you for the call, Alan.
Like, let's say, here's a good question. I don't know if Tommy Novak will rebound and look like he was at his best, but Tommy Novak 2 years ago in 71 games had 18 goals and 27 assists. If he'd have just done that last year or been on pace for this year, you'd take that. That would be a big upgrade on what production they're getting. Fedor Svechkov has no goals and 1 assist right now through 20 games.
Yikes.
And I still think he could be a good player, but I think right now he's he's losing some confidence. He's not having anything go right out there, and it's weighing on him a lot. He's a good kid. He's got talent, but these are the things that are sometimes hard to explain in hockey, why things go a certain way. But trading Tommy Novak, it's not like Novak has gone to Pittsburgh and lit it up, right? Nothing close to that yet.
Correct. And Philip Tomasino, whom the
It just got
Predators
waived.
traded,
Yeah.
just got waived. Let's go to Ryan in Nashville on our phone line. Ryan, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
What's going on, guys? I said they overshot. I think Trotz overdid it when he went out on that free agency signing. My thing is you look at Stamkos, you look at Marchessault when they were lighting it up in Vegas and Tampa. They had playmakers. What is the one thing Nashville lacks on offense? They have no playmakers. Luke Evangelista is your best playmaker on offense as of right now, which isn't going to cut it with these guys when they've come with guys from Kucherov and other ones. I think he overshot, and Bruno's system worked so well in Florida because he had nothing but young guys that were speed guys. They would attack on the rush. We did good with that his first year because they were young kids still, other than Forsberg and O'Reilly, but the team was still relatively young. And then they add Stamkos, Marchessault, and Shea, which doesn't help when they're older and they're slowing down. I love all 3 of them, but it hurts when their game is slowing down and you want to play an up-tempo speed game.
Thank you for the call, Ryan.
Gus Nyquist and Ryan O'Reilly are not fast players, but they flourished 2 years ago in that system. Ryan McDonough is not a get up and down the ice fast defenseman. He's a savvy guy who could probably meld into whatever system you want to play. But it's interesting how everything came together for that team, even though that team is Colton Sisson's a blazing end-to-end center. Is Michael McCarron? No. Now, Kiefer Sherwood's fast, one of the faster players in the game. Cole Smith is underrated fast. That team, for whatever reason, had the blend. I don't know where it went missing last year, but clearly Brady Shea, Jonathan Marchessault, Steven Stamkos weren't able to get into that blend, and they have been forced to change the way they play. And you take out, Ryan, the caller just mentioned lack of playmakers. Who's your number one playmaker on the team? Roman Josi, who hasn't been there for a while, and he missed the last 25 games last year. So that's another thing. Roman Josi had 85 points 2 years ago. That's an enormous lift of everybody else in your lineup. So it's taken that away from you as well. So it's a very complicated question. My closing thing is, if you're just going to zero in on they need to change the coach, I think it just goes a lot deeper than that. It's a fair thing to bring up and question, but it goes a lot deeper than something simple like that.
Great participation, everybody. 615-737-1025. Barry Trotz himself will join us tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It's not even 4 o'clock. I see. I have to stop saying 4 o'clock because I'm going to keep
go
saying
home
4
and
o'clock.
Practice, Adam. Go home and practice.
Barry Trotz will join us
o'clock.
at 4 p.m.
Write it out on the message board.
4 p.m. Barry Trotz will join us at 4 p.m. Not Clark Lee. We talked to Clark Lee yesterday. 4 p.m. Barry Trotz tomorrow on D. Mace, Vingen, and Donick. Coming up next, Jonathan Hutton from Hot Mike with Hutton and Withrow will join us. We'll get back into the Titans and college football with our friend Hutton. Coming up next, 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingen, 1025 The Game. D Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David James here with you. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Jonathan Hutton from Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow, who now is brought to you by a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs. Congratulations,
very
Hutton.
classy.
There
Very
you go.
classy.
Classy.
That's a
Thank
classy
you.
joint for you.
Exactly.
I love a Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa. Are you kidding me?
There we
Click
go.
by print online at momentspeace.com. Let's go.
Oh,
Yes.
there you go.
Facials and massages and all of the other good stuff.
I've been there.
Mace,
I've been there.
Mace, for the holidays, I'm going to give you the gift of relaxation. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Peace Salon and Day Spa.
All right, Hutton, let's start with the latest college football playoff rankings. And we asked ourselves this question to start the show. What should we complain about this week? So looking at the rankings, here is my major takeaway. I'm not one to leap to the defense of Alabama fans, but I think Alabama fans have every right to be pissed. Dropping, 6 spots behind Notre Dame in the college football playoff rankings after losing one game barely at home to Oklahoma, a great team. So what should we complain about this week, Hutton?
Look, are you guys like me? This is just a TV show. That
Yes.
they've come up
Of
with,
course.
right?
I said yesterday that we should not get one of these every week. I believe the NCAA men's basketball tournament,
Right.
I think they do either 1 or 2 of these where they release the top 16 seeds ahead of Selection Sunday. I don't need to see this every week, but to your point, yes, it's made for TV. We're all watching.
It's almost intentional, some of it. Now we will see, like if USC beats Oregon, we'll see them creep up, right? And they'll be in it next week, that kind of thing. But by and large, the only one that matters is the final one that comes out, because as we know, that they can make up the criteria as they go here. They can, to have Notre Dame where they are, have Bama where they are. Not a lot of it makes sense in the grand scheme of things. However, Vanderbilt didn't move. That's what I would point to this week.
Now, Hut, it's speaking of that, because we did discuss the Vandy, them not moving at all.
Right.
And it's almost starting to seem like, and Adam asked the right question. What can we argue about this week? Or what do we need to do?
Right.
And it's like, okay, I can argue about where Notre Dame is compared to Alabama. But nobody wants to really hear, because Notre Dame, for all intents and purposes, they're Teflon. That's why they're not getting into a conference.
And Rudy was offside.
Exactly. And Rudy was offside, we decided. But they're always going to stay independent, because that's what best suit them, and them getting into the playoffs. But when you look at Vanderbilt, the committee is basically saying, and Vanderbilt has to do they have to do their part as far as winning games. And I think Vandy fans are not saying as much as because they know that everything boils down to those last 2 games, Kentucky this week and obviously UT next week there in Knoxville. But the committee is telling us loud and clear, Vandy, it's been a great season for y'all. Even if y'all win 10 games, even if y'all go undefeated at home, which they have an opportunity to do this weekend.
Yep. Enjoy the Gasparilla Bowl.
Exactly. So they're basically telling them, enjoy a different bowl, because you will not get into college football playoffs unless there's just all of these things that need to happen. And even if they do happen, you still may not get into the bowl, college football playoffs. And I just think if that was another SEC team or another team with a bigger brand,
if it was the same brand as Notre Dame,
we wouldn't even be discussing this, whether they would be in the college football playoffs or not. It would be a foregone conclusion.
I still think, I don't think it comes down to a single brand other than the SEC brand. Because I'll go back to this, guys. I don't think the committee wants to put 6 teams in from the SEC.
I grant you that is a legit factor.
But if it needs to happen, it needs to happen.
But Mace, they already hear this SEC bias, BS, all this stuff. And unfortunately for Vanderbilt, they're just the team that sits right there. It could be name your team there. As if you have the upper shelf of the SEC already represented, they're not going to dip down to the 10-win team that's is the 6th team in when they're already being represented as a conference by 5 others that are just as good. That's what in the back of their mind. I'm not saying this. I believe in that.
Mhm.
I'm not saying I want that. I just think I lean towards that's what they're doing. I'm not saying I would do that if I were them. I think they feel pressure to have everyone represented, unfortunately.
Now, do you think this is again? It's just another excuse, I think, to add 4 more teams to the playoffs, get it to 16 teams.
They will.
Ultimately where they want to get it, because even in a situation where you have 12 teams, and Vandy clearly, to me at least, from what I've seen, and I haven't seen all of them, but they deserve to be in the college football playoffs right now. If it was to start right now, based on what they've done, and there are people within the community that doesn't believe that, even at 10-2, it seems.
Well, for whatever reason, they value Miami's win against Notre Dame more than they will, more than they'll value a win over Tennessee at the end for Vanderbilt, right? Like that. The fact that Oklahoma won on the road at Tennessee, not at Bama, but at Tennessee, doesn't help Vanderbilt at all. That they needed Tennessee to just keep on rolling. To the point where they end on this high note with a win on the road at Tennessee, and they go in there with 10 wins. Now it just seems like there's not a win that's going to be worthy of bumping them ahead of some of these other programs that are going to be ahead of them at this point. But there's always craziness. There's always chaos that can help work itself out in this regard. But I'm telling you, part of the chaos will be bumping out a few of the SEC programs that are already represented right now in order to get Vanderbilt in. I don't think it's going to come at the cost of another conference. It'll come at the cost of the SEC. And the SEC will end up with 5. And that's with or without Vanderbilt. That sucks. But I think that is solely what we're looking at here. Otherwise, I don't know why you wouldn't move Vanderbilt up or down.
Now, another game that I'm interested in, and it may have something to do ultimately with the SEC, is the Oregon and SC game. If Oregon lose that game, now they're 9-2, SC's 9-2, but it seems like SC is so far down. Can they make that much of a leap to get into the college football playoffs? But then if Oregon lose, doesn't that essentially put them out, if you're basing it on where Alabama was a couple of weeks ago and where they're at now, based upon how many slots they slide
Derek,
down?
you're making too much sense.
Yeah, they'll find a way to make them. They'll find a way to be okay. But who's going to take their spot? USC.
And that's what I'm saying. Like Oregon is number 7. USC.
We're still talking Vandy.
Because Vandy, they're in this because they're squashed between USC and Oregon.
Right.
And if Oregon loses to USC, do they move
USC's
up that many spots?
USC's not currently in it, though.
Exactly, I know. But
so they'll just, to me, Oregon and USC will just flip flop.
But that wouldn't be fair, would it? Because you got a team that's not in it already facing the team that's in it. And if they beat that team, then all of a sudden they move up that many spots. And see, that's what I'm not. That's why I say it's damn near.
Not that many spots, Mace. Just enough to get in. Right now, USC is where currently?
17.
See,
are they 17? I think they are.
I think they're higher.
They may be higher. I'm looking at they may be higher in that.
I'm just saying I think they're in the playoff with the win against Oregon. Meanwhile, I don't know, what Vandy can do other than sit there at 14 like they've done the last 2 weeks. Tennessee moved up 3 spots, I believe, by playing New Mexico State from last week to this week. But Vanderbilt didn't play and didn't move. It's a weird deal. I think they view it more as we can't have 8 teams from the Southeastern Conference in here, even though I think you can make the argument all these deserving programs are coming from the same region, the same conference. They don't want that, and regardless of the strength of schedule emphasis and all these other things. The SEC is going to be represented by more programs than what they had a year ago, but it's not going to be to the benefit of Vanderbilt, at least not right now. That they'll need some other programs ahead of them to lose. Not ahead of them in terms of a Big Ten or an ACC. They need some SEC programs to drop off.
Hutton, ask Willie how he feels about all of that.
I'm with Willie.
You have to win the 2 games.
That's
You
Coach
are-
Willie. I'm
put-
not talking about Coach Willie. I'm
Yeah,
talking
we
about
don't wanna hear
Willie.
it, Coach
That's
Willie.
the Coach Willie. The other frustrated,
Well,
you
that- yeah,
know, the way
no
the
doubt.
way it just bugs me, Hut, that they're not in the discussion more. There should be a discussion
There's-
of
I agree.
if Vanderbilt goes 10-2. That's a tough one to. They weren't even mentioned. Weren't even mentioned in Stuart
they-
Vandel's thing.
If they were
Like-
to win that, okay, that week it was the
And
weekend
I
right
guarantee you,
before-
Florida or Tennessee or Alabama, they would be mentioned if
Oh,
they were
would
with
be
Vanderbilt.
mentioned.
That's
No,
the
no
brand
doubt.
thing that I'm talking
it-
about.
Okay, now that's fair. They would be used as a discussion point to get people
Right.
pissed off.
And they
with
may be in
Drake
the
right now.
they may still be in the same spot because it's like you said. I can understand why they are where they are.
I
But
think they're in
the other
same
part
spot,
of it
but
is you
they're
have to
mentioned
win the 2 games
100%.
to get into having an argument to be ticked off. Until it's
totally.
really irrelevant until then. But it is interesting to note how it's just Vanderbilt's a nice story, but yeah, let's put him at 14. You know,
Yeah, totally
It's
agree
just-
with you.
They
It's,
doing
very,
that.
it's very easy to do that.
They're doing Vandy worse than they did Indiana last year.
Well, Indiana didn't have a loss though. Like they had one
Yeah.
loss. You know, like that was the thing is there was really you were trying to make the argument as to why they didn't deserve to be in, but they were ranked so high by the end of it. If you knocked them down a couple pegs, they were still going to be in. It was whether or not they were going to host a game or not.
Right. So
And by the way, with Vandy, if they would have just, I say if they, you can say this about a lot of teams. Georgia Tech comes to mind too. Had they won their game right before this week where they released their first poll for the college football playoff, I would love to have known where Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt would have been. Had Vanderbilt pulled that comeback against Texas, that was that following Tuesday, I believe, when the first poll came out. And I would have loved to have seen where Vanderbilt would have been and how many SEC programs they would have, because there would be no choice but to put them in, because that would have been a victory right there for Vanderbilt. But again, Texas probably gets knocked out of it.
yes, so there's still games to be played. You've got to put you got to put all these wins in the clubhouse and see where the chips fall in a couple weeks.
Yes.
So Hut, the Titans, we've talked a lot. We just the weekly trying to figure out, like, I think you could argue that Cam Ward took a couple of little baby steps forward on Sunday. He had, he got him down there. He got him tied. He had a couple of runs, which we hadn't seen a lot. He got rid of the ball a little bit quicker. These are little baby steps that we want to see more of. But it is, you just look at the numbers as a whole. It's just hard to get around how ugly the numbers are. I don't know what your vision was before the season started. I thought the numbers would look a little better.
Numbers and just the overall eye test of just progressing. Everything's a struggle. Even like, okay, I believe he completes on that opening drive to start the game. They can, I think he completes passes to 5 or 6 different receivers on that drive. But a lot of those are screen passes. They're trying to get him in rhythm. And even some of those passes are off the mark. The receiver, Mace, I mean, and Will, I'm glad you bring this up because I think it's a good question for Mace. I've never played quarterback, and I played receiver in a wing tee offense in high school, if that tells you anything. All right. I'm saying
how many catches?
I'm saying the receivers end up making the play instead of the quarterback making it easy on them. And like the Mason Kinsey's, like, put it on him, put the ball on him, because I'm here to tell you, with the depth the way it is right now, he needs to make it as easy as possible on these guys. These guys don't need to be making acrobatic catches in order to come down with it. And he's got to drop some passes in the bucket that are, I mean, I'm not trying to really crap all over the guy here, but like the pass to Okonkwo, Willie, while it happened in a big moment in the game, that's a routine play we see in the NFL by good quarterbacks. That's not like it's not like this unbelievable play that you just can't believe it, and he's really turning a corner. I see, you're right. Baby steps is the right way to phrase it. I don't see corner turned. I think that's maybe the best way I can describe it, is I see these small progressions that turn into just glimpses instead of anchor points as they are pivot points for a season where we start to see him really grasp things. I think he's processing things better. I like the way he was able to tuck the ball and run for some easy plays, easy yards. He was able to get down, no harm, no foul. But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of things that just feel like everything's just so difficult to get some yardage, and that's frustrating. It's got to be frustrating for him, for the offense, but also like I get when fans are like, man, when are we going to see something here? Because it's one thing to say like, okay, they led down and got a touchdown. Great, that's awesome. But where is it the rest of the time? And there's just no symmetry to anything. Everything is like nails on a chalkboard right now, and it's difficult to watch. It really is.
I'd love to see. We were talking about Bryce Young and the Panthers yesterday. A nice story at 6-5, and Bryce Young has made, I think, some baby steps, right? But
sure,
if Cam Ward is in his third year and looks like Bryce Young does now, I still think there'll be a lot of disappointment, right? Because the numbers still aren't that great.
No doubt. I mean, if 7 months ago we were talking about how we would be comparing him to Bryce Young, that's not good enough. Not for the number one, not for this team where the expectations are, especially with the head coach they had at the time. That's just not good enough. And we're not going to be able to see much progression and much improvement until we see the new coaching staff come in and really get their hands and get their coaching around him. Because right now, I mean, there is just a lot of going through the motions. On top of everything, you've got a coach who plays very conservative. So, he's got an offensive line that's jumping off sides. Even if he were to make a good play here or there, there's a lot of things working against him. But he doesn't do the layup type plays. I'm not talking about the Okonkwo play now. That's not a layup play, but that is a play that's made that we can see in the NFL every week. That type of throw. I'm talking just the first down, chain moving plays. There's a lot of things working against him, but when he's got the play there, he's got to hit his guy. Even on screen passes, all types of things like that. He can't spin the guy back around and have him lose yardage. And by the time he, gathers himself, he's overwhelmed by defenders. There's got to be more to it than that, especially whatever they are in the season, guys. I've wanted to see more, and it's not just numbers. The numbers on paper look bad, but it's more than that, because there are always things that could be explained. I think there are a lot of nuance to this that leave you wondering, okay, is this guy going to get it, or is he going to be good, or is he going to be great? And right now, it seems like he's just going to be the ceiling seems like a good quarterback, but it's way too early to say that. I'm not calling him a bust by any means, but I want to see more before I proclaim everything just to be okay, because right now it doesn't look like everything's okay.
Jonathan Hutton has been our guest on D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick. He joins us every Wednesday at 5, and he is now brought to you by A Moment's Peace Salon and Day Spa in Cool Springs. Hutton, before silly underdog picks, you've been doing this over the past couple of weeks. You wonder if somebody's going to take what?
I wonder if someone's going to take Florida
over Tennessee. We shall see. Hutton,
Florida.
We'll talk to you next week.
Mace, go with Florida. Do it.
Now you didn't put that in my head. Oh, no.
We'll see what Derek does coming up next. Hutton, always a pleasure, my friend. 615-737-1025. It is time for silly underdog picks. Let's see if Chris Sanders actually joins us this week.
His team lost, didn't it?
Oh, they lost. So did yours. And so did Hal's. Mine didn't, though.
So he should be here on time.
We'll see. 615-737-1025. Silly underdog picks is next. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. It is time for Silly Underdog Picks, presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket. After a couple of weeks as acting commissioner, I am proud to hand over those duties back to the man who does it better than anybody else, Willie Donick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your commissioner speaking. And speaking English, not coming at you in Swedish. I was wondering if the song Willie Dynamite would be performed in Swedish. Was it ever performed in Sweden? I don't know.
That is unconfirmed right
I'm
now.
not sure it translates from English to Swedish.
Do they have a Willie Dynamite type character in Stockholm? I don't know. I did not run
No,
across
now
it.
that you're not there anymore.
I could see if I could
These
get
are
Swedish
things-
Chef to sing it
Yes.
next time.
The Swedish Chef was mentioned more than once when we were in Sweden, and by Paul McCann more than once himself. Who doesn't like the Swedish
And
Chef?
you will have to explain to Hal Gill why he wasn't invited to Sweden. You'll have to talk to him about
Well,
that in
no,
just a moment.
we're going to leave certain things off the air. I know how Hal feels about this. D-Mace, can you give us like a 10-second evaluation of Adam, the commissioner, interim commissioner?
Okay.
Wait. The
Adam.
peanut gallery is already weighed in.
Yes, Adam, let that power get to his head. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
I
And
will
it
admit-
corrupted Adam for 2 weeks.
I
You
will
should have
admit-
saw it, Willie.
I-
You should have heard it, Willie.
I will admit,
I mean,
I abused my
goodness.
power
You
in
abused
more
it,
ways
yes.
than one.
Yes. He wanted to kick Chris out of the game.
Chris, is this true? Chris, do you need the real commissioner to come in and drop the hammer on
Man,
Adam?
I miss you, man. I want to hug your neck, man. I really do, man. I mean, it's like this, man. I thought I was at a hockey game, and I just want to go, you suck. That's how I just kept thinking.
Hey, Chris, I do need you to speak a little bit louder, though, all the way from last place.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
Ooh,
Damn.
burn.
He
He can't say
I'm
anything.
sorry. I can't say nothing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hal Gill is also
Yeah.
here. Hello, Hal.
Hal, any comments on the
Who
interim commissioner?
I just have a question to ask. Like, Adam starts chipping away and moving up the ladder as the commissioner. Well, how does that work? That doesn't sound
Oh,
right.
Fair question.
I'm above
Yes.
board here. I am
Seems
above
like we're
board.
implying some things.
And Willie, he wanted to take points, deduct points from
See?
people.
What'd I
Deduct
tell you?
points.
He had the reins for about 2
Yeah.
minutes, and he was already making moves.
See, this is good because it makes me look good as a commissioner. I have never docked a contestant points.
Ever?
He was
No.
ready, Willie. He
I was
he
ready.
was ready.
No, that does not happen.
Can't
It
give
does
him
not
any
happen.
But
power.
I'm
Pin
no-
was out. The eraser was near the points.
Yes.
He was like that kid in school that when he became the traffic cop, he had to put on his little, we had these little
The hall monitor.
yes.
No,
The
we
hall
wasn't hall
monitor.
monitor, but we were the guys that
He got
were
a
we had to
flashlight.
go outside when the buses would come and tell everybody.
Oh yeah,
okay,
your
you're
crossing guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your
This-
little. Yeah,
This may come as a shock.
Sash.
This may come as a
I,
shock.
I saw a lot of people
Uh-huh.
get that position and they abused it.
This may come as a shock because I know I give major hall monitor vibes. I was never a hall
You
monitor.
were never hall monitor.
No,
Wow.
no, I was
Even
not.
I was
They,
hall
they
monitor
knew right
once.
then and there. They're like, he can't have that.
if you're
power.
gonna if you're gonna give off the vibe, should you just go all in and be the guy?
Maybe.
Even I was the
And
hall
take
monitor.
the power.
I don't know. But Willie, now
Wait,
that
wait,
you're
wait,
back,
wait, wait.
now that you're back in the commissioner's chair, let's recap.
Right, because
Last week.
Adam can't wait to read these results.
Let's do it.
Find a receipt.
Let's start with Chris Sanders.
Chris Sanders, week 12, had the first pick. He did. Came in with 21.5 points, looking him up, making his customarily high pick, going with UAB, the Blazers,
Oh,
18.5 points, an underdog against North Texas.
Mm.
North Texas having a heck of a year. The Mean Green,
Yes, they are.
53-24. No defense for
God.
Chris.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I mean, it's like being a commissioner. I mean, you just make bad picks. I mean, that's just what it is.
UAB was
Adam.
good to you a few weeks ago, Chris. They did get
Yeah,
you
they were,
21
they
and a
were,
half.
They were.
I can see
they
why
were.
you would go
They're
back to
pretty
the well. D-Mace, coming off a good win 2
Yeah.
weeks ago with Wake Forest, in the lead right now, took Pitt,
I needed that to happen, Willie. I needed it. For
12 and a
Vandy's
half
sake.
points. Yes, I was with you. I was in the pit bunker hoping to knock off the Fighting Irish, but too much Notre Dame. 37-15, Notre Dame, an impressive road win. So D-May stays at 38.5. What happened to your Panthers?
Hey man, I chose that game because I figured it would help Vandy. So I was all in on Vandy. It had nothing to do with Pitt.
And now we get to Heartbreak Hal Gill. Hal, 2 weeks in a row, absolute Whitney Houston, Heartbreak Hotel, Northwestern, 12.5-point dog against Michigan, Wrigley Field. Tremendous setting.
Beautiful setting. Beautiful.
For any sporting event. Northwestern lines up, and Michigan despite five turnovers, able to kick the game-winning field goal and win 24-22. How are you? How are you mentally right now? This is your rookie year in this competition. This is part of the tough part of it. So how are you holding up at this point?
You know what? 2 weeks ago was the same story. I went through the drama. This last week, I had the update. So it said it was done, and it came out as a final. I was winning, and then it updated and said with 0.02 seconds left, they kicked the field goal, and that is what got me.
So on your phone, they had tenths of seconds, 0.02 seconds left.
So he thought he won, but then he would lose.
Oh, that was
Heartbreaker.
Tough. And then Adam Vingen, he's been waiting all day. He couldn't wait when I got home from Sweden. Did you know I won my pick? As soon as I get back home, the first thing, do you know I won my pick? You know I was the only guy that won.
You should have said, who is this?
He had Navy. Adam had Navy. 10.5-point dogs against USF. And the midshipman, yes, Adam's pretending that he's actually in the Naval Academy.
In the Navy.
41-38 is the final. Adam picks up 10.5 big ones.
Hot diggity.
And moves out of the cellar like Rat with the album back in the day. Goes to 4-8, 28.5. So he moves from fourth to second.
Wow, big jump.
You know, I was raised in the Navy town. Shout out Hampton Roads area, Virginia. So I knew the midshipmen would come through.
Yeah,
I knew they would.
You was hoping and praying.
It was a little hairy there. It was back and forth. A really exciting second half, but Navy pulls it out.
So here are the standings after 12 weeks. D-Mace.
7 C's, please.
Make sure to emphasize who's in last place as you're reading these.
Here are the standings.
Oh
D-Mace 38.5 in the lead. Now Adam moves up to second, 28.5. Hal with 25, still within striking distance. And yes, Chris Sanders is back in the cellar, but still one big win. The way he does it, he could vault. He could vault 21.5. So that brings us to week 13. The first pick of the week goes to the leader, currently Derek Mason.
Ooh.
Man, that song just made me want to run through a big brick wall. Let's go. All right. I am going with, Hud. He trying to nudge me to that Florida and Tennessee game, but I just don't trust it. I think Tennessee's going to blow him out. But I am going to the Big Ten. This is where my career started. And I'm going
Maryland.
I said my career started in the Big Ten. I didn't say which team. I'm going with USC over Oregon.
Okay.
I'm taking SC over Oregon.
That's a good one.
Even though SC and Oregon really ain't from the Big Ten, but they are in the Big Ten.
Yes, this is
weird.
It's a Big Ten.
This is weird.
Where
Big
is that
Ten
game?
matchup.
Where is that game?
Eugene,
Oregon.
Okay.
USC is a 9.5-point dog. They are ranked 15th at 8-2. This is really their season. They could,
this is their season right here.
Maybe could get into a interesting discussion if they could pull this win. Oregon at 9-1. That game is on CBS at 2:30.
And I hate it because if they do win USC, they may jump over Vanderbilt.
It would cloud Vanderbilt's
But
hopes.
I got to pick them because they're underdog.
Okay.
All right. So USC is down in Penn. That brings us to the second pick of the week. The rookie, Heartbreak Hal Gill. 2 weeks in a row. The last
Bluegill.
second field goal
Bluegill.
to slip. Bluegill.
All right. Well, listen, teammates, that's a stupid pick. Who would take that?
Oh,
I
man.
see somebody wanted that pick.
That may have been on the list.
All right, that's
Oh, my
dumb. I hope you lose, because, hey, you know what? I was trying to fight misery and looking up and down, and I don't need any more misery, but I do have Missouri, and I'll take Missouri to win it.
Missouri.
I think
this
am
would
I
be
locked
again.
in at 7.5.
I thought about Missouri too. I did.
Missouri is a 7.5-point dog playing at Oklahoma, trying to spoil Oklahoma's party. Now, this would be a big win for Vanderbilt
Mhm.
on 2 fronts. It would hurt Oklahoma and also make Vanderbilt's win over Missouri look
a lot
better. So I'm
yeah.
down with the Tigers. Let's go.
There we go.
Let's do it.
Mizzou for 7.5. That brings us to Adam Vingen for pick number 3.
So last week, I had success.
Is this the music of a hall monitor? I ask you.
No, one texter, by the way, said Adam was Peter Brady. That's an episode of the Brady Bunch, right?
Yes.
Where Peter Brady is the hall monitor, is corrupted by power.
That is you, definitely.
I don't think that's me. But last week, I had success picking against the team in 12th, the group of 5 team in the college football playoff. That was South Florida. So this week, I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to pick against Tulane by taking Temple, a 7.5-point underdog, to beat the Green Wave.
You know, I was doing a
I
little
thought you was going to
perusing.
Kansas State when you said the number 12 team. But
I was
'cause Utah's
perusing,
12.
and I did notice that game. I did notice that is an interesting game. Temple is a 7.5-point home dog because this is the time of the year where, when you're in the rankings and you're kind of on the inside and everybody's on the outside looking in, there is pressure. And you're on the road. This would make Temple's season to pull off a big upset like that.
And South Florida is done. South Florida's done after losing to Navy. So Tulane could be done after losing to Temple.
So Adam's just trying to crush more dreams. Takes Temple. The Owls are a 7.5-point dog playing at home in Philly, Lincoln Financial Field, against number 24 Tulane.
One texter, Hair Metal Henry, says, I see Adam as the audio-visual projector guy. I think that's more appropriate.
That was a very coveted job back in the day.
Oh,
and I get to wear a hat that says AV, and those are my initials. So that would be pretty cool.
Ooh.
Okay,
All right.
get to Chris.
That gets us to the last pick. Chris Sanders. He's left us in suspense. What has he got up his sleeve this week?
Oh, this is a biggie.
Does he have one more big score?
Yes, I do.
Chris, I heard you're the honorary Titan this weekend.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Are they
my
going to
brother.
be booming out this song?
He's going to pick Rutgers.
I think they should
No,
play.
this-
I think they should play this song though. Get the crowd fired up
Because
Lionel
nothing gets
Richie.
the crowd fired up like Lionel Richie.
Singing
I'm
hello.
gonna play Too Legit to Quit. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna play. No, this is gonna put me over the top. This is gonna give me the lead. This is gonna be
Rutgers.
my best pick in the last 4 to 5 years.
Syracuse.
Ball State over Toledo, 27. Let's go.
He loves Ball State. You love Ball State almost as much
I
as
love
you
the
love
name.
Stanford. When it
Is
comes
it a
to-
Cardinal or is it a Cardinal?
This
What are
boy.
we doing? What is it?
Stanford is singular. Ball
Right.
State is plural.
Ball State is
So-
plural.
So that's a bird and the other one's a tree.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Adam Verdatari.
There
Where
already have
is
been
this
some.
game?
There already have been some conference games in the MAC played
Does this
this
game
week.
exist?
It does exist.
It does it? Yeah, okay.
It's a rare MAC
let's
Saturday game.
Ooh, at the Glass
Matt-
Bowl. The
Matt-
Glass Bowl in Toledo,
Yes.
Let's
Ohio.
go.
Home of the Toledo Rockets. Ball State,
Yeah.
a 27.5
Let's
point dog
go.
Wow.
at 4-6.
Have y'all phones
Here's
ready.
the question. What does Chris know? He seems extra
I know.
confident in this one. Has he consulted with
Car-
the former Ball State Cardinal, Blaine Bishop? I don't know. Is it possible?
No. Yeah, I talked to him, and then the Cardinal flew to my house. He said, "Chris picked me." I said, "I got you, big dog," and they're gonna win.
27 and a
Chapman.
half. That would be among the biggest. Chris has hit some
biggest.
20-plus games.
No, I hit a
27 and a half.
34. I hit a 34. Remember?
34? I got to go back and look.
Yeah, we
See if
gotta
I can
check
find
It was Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt beat Missouri.
Vanderbilt did beat Missouri.
But
Was it
wasn't no
34?
That's what I'm
It
saying.
was 34. It was 34.
We gotta check that.
What year was this?
A couple years. It was Derek Mason.
1884?
Derek 2019, I think.
Okay.
Was it 1884?
1882.
I mean, come on.
All right.
He better not win. He better not win.
Oh,
Okay.
if I win, get your phones ready. Not ready, but ready. Ready.
Okay, here's what we got for week 13. It is good to be back in the commissioner's chair. Here's what we have. Derek Mason, the current leader in the competition. He has selected a traditional Big Ten matchup. Southern Cal, a 9.5-point dog up in Eugene to take on the Oregon Ducks. 2:30 game on Saturday. Hal Gill trying to get over the top. He has been inching. He's been so close to big points the last couple of weeks. This week he goes with Missouri, a 7.5-point dog on the road as they take on Oklahoma, who suddenly is right in the thick of things in the playoff picture. Adam Vingan, currently on a roll, coming off the big win by the Naval Academy. Now he goes a little closer in the region, and he goes to Philadelphia, home of the Temple Owls, a 7.5-point dog playing at home against Tulane, who is coming up from New Orleans, right now holding the spot for the non-power four,
The group of
five representative. So pressure on. Chris Sanders going big, even for him. Going with the Ball State Cardinals out of the Mid-American Conference, a 27.5-point dog at Toledo. Toledo is a 27.5-point favorite. These are our picks for week 13. Remember, you can make the people's pick just around the corner, 615-737-1025. If you win representing the people, we have a prize for you. But the picks are in the book for week 13. Gentlemen, as always, good luck.
I'm glad Willie's back. I really am, because you abused your authority, Adam, with being a commissioner, and you other two, Hal and Chris. I hope y'all lose along with Adam. Okay, I hope y'all lose. Hope y'all teams get beat by 100.
The strategy of just trying to intimidate the opponent so far is working for Demons. It's working for him. He's got the lead.
I don't know how I'm imitate. Not imitating. Imitate. No, not imitating.
What are you trying to say?
No, what am I trying to say?
Intimidating.
Yeah, intimidating. How can I intimidate Hal? How can I intimidate Hal?
You're saying it's impossible to intimidate Hal?
Exactly. How can you intimidate Hal?
He's heard it all before.
Exactly. He's a hockey player. He didn't heard it all, man. Come on.
Hal, what's the meanest thing an opponent? Hal, what's the meanest
week.
thing an opponent has ever said to you that you can share on the air?
I can't say it on the air. Oh, that I can say.
Fair enough. All right, gentlemen, good luck. 615-737.
I've heard it all.
I know you have. 615-737-1025. It's time for you to call to represent the people. And if you represent the people and win, you will win a 4-pack of tickets to see All Elite Wrestling, Dynamite, and Collision at the Pinnacle downtown a week from today, Wednesday, November 26th. Call now. 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5. The Game. It's time to get the people's pick for silly underdog picks. Let's go to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHunted.com, and welcome in Randy. Randy, welcome to the competition. Your selection, please.
Hello, I'm picking Florida over Tennessee.
Okay.
There we
Good
go.
luck, Randy.
Thank you,
Randy
Appreciate it.
is taking Jonathan Hutton's advice.
Yes, he
and
is.
taking Florida over Tennessee.
Are we sure that wasn't Jonathan Hutton in disguise, disguising his voice?
I believe Florida is a 4-point underdog.
Yes, 4.
That is correct.
Against Tennessee.
In the swamp.
Oh, that could be an interesting
swampy
game.
Swamp.
We know how Tennessee fans feel about the Vols playing at Florida.
The people have been smart. They have not gone recently with the big underdog. They're taking a more reasonable underdog with a shot.
I think as the season goes on, those big, like, underdog picks, they're not intriguing games anymore, because usually at the beginning of the season, you get games that are more intriguing with bigger margins for some reason.
So last week we did have a winner whose name is escaping me at the moment, but we did have a winner. They selected Oklahoma over Alabama. They won tickets to see Matt Rife at Bridgestone Arena next October.
Yes.
Hair Metal Henry says, on a side note, gentlemen, thanks for letting me play several weeks ago. I won tickets to Bryan Adams and Pat Benatar. Was a phenomenal
Well,
show.
great. I'm glad
I'd
you
like to
loved
hear
it.
that. We
So-
sent a few people to that concert.
Yes, we did.
We
Last
had
week's
somebody-
winner
somebody
was
took-
Josh.
Josh,
Yeah.
congratulations, Josh. You get to see Matt Rife in like 11 months.
We had a winner
He's
with
planning for it.
Oklahoma over Tennessee as
Oh.
well. So Oklahoma's
been good.
for the
Yeah.
people.
Been good for the
Yes.
people. So if Randy wins, he'll be at AEW Dynamite in Collision next Wednesday. I'm sure I'll be there as well. So if you win those tickets, say hello. So I want to end the show on a somewhat lighthearted note. So, Willie, I'm sure you saw this last week. New Jersey Devils star Jack Hughes suffered an injury, which was called a quote-unquote freak accident at a team dinner. I believe the report was he cut his finger on some glass. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he's out for several weeks, which is a huge loss for the New Jersey Devils. Here's another story today out of South Florida. Reading from the Associated Press, quote, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers are now dealing with even more injuries, including one sustained in a grilling accident. And Coach Paul Maurice, when looking at the big picture, is seeing all of this as a way for the champs to get even better. Forward Eetu Listerainen will be listed as week to week, Maurice said Wednesday, after what the coach described as a quote-unquote barbecuing mishap.
Man.
Do we have the details of the
Yeah,
mishap?
exactly. Was he flipping burgers? Was he
A barbecuing mishap.
This is a problem when you play in South Florida because the season of barbecuing and grilling is extended.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you're grilling out in Winnipeg or Edmonton these days. That's
Well,
probably
buddy,
not
am I-
going to percentages.
Not
would
to
tell
make
you.
light of the
It's not-
situation.
but the percentages of getting hurt
'Cause
in
it
a
gets so
grill
cold.
accident in Winnipeg right now are lower.
But I'm sure some people in Winnipeg, no matter what temperature,
Oh,
they
yeah.
still grill.
They'll find a way to do it.
Yeah, they'll find
And
a way.
people who are going to grill,
they're
are
going to
gonna
grill.
He
A good
suffered-
friend of mine is like that. He grills all day, every day. It seems.
Maurice said that Losterainen suffered burns in the incident, but it wasn't serious enough that he had to stay overnight in the hospital. Still, he was burnt badly enough that Maurice labeled him week to week.
Yeah, I wonder what happened.
What
Did
the
the
heck?
flames, like he lifted the thing up, but he was lighting it with, the charcoal or whatnot, it just blew in his.
Jeez.
I don't know what happened. man.
Safety.
Yeah, wear gloves or something, man.
So
Use them tongs. Use the tongs, man. No,
Or
Spatula.
hire a grill guy.
yeah, hire a grill guy.
yeah, not to make light of the situation.
Or just get a
but,
smaller
I'm
grill.
glad he's okay.
Yes.
I'm
He's
glad
a
you're
very
okay.
he's a very good
Yeah.
player.
He needs to go to a George Foreman then. He needs to go to a George Foreman. Plug it up.
Yes.
Just throw it on. Yeah, no fire involved.
Casey in Gallatin says, you guys are awesome. For the record, I won the people's pick in week 2 or 3, I believe, and won
Okay.
tickets to Papa Roach. That was also a super cool show, and I'm very grateful for you guys and the opportunity.
Well, we are grateful
We aim to please.
that you called.
Okay.
You're listening.
Do we have Wes and Hermitage? If you want to call, you need to call now. So when we talked about this last week, the
Yes.
Jack Hughes thing, Wes from Hermitage said his girlfriend suffered a similar injury by falling out of a window.
Ooh.
I think that's what it was. And he
Yeah.
left us hanging. So Wes, if you call right now, you have like a minute to come on and tell the story. So you need to
you
call
talk
literally
real
right
loud.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, he goes, no, I'll try tomorrow. Okay, you can call tomorrow. That's fine.
Man, falling through a window. Whew.
Falling through a
tough.
window.
It's tough.
That is tough. But what's the worst injury you've suffered while cooking?
While cooking.
While cooking.
I've burned myself.
Yeah, we've all gotten a little burn
yeah,
here or there.
and that's the worst because when you burn your hand, it just affects the whole day after that.
Yeah.
It just messes up the whole day. So, but yeah, that's the extent to my injuries when it came to cooking or grilling.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't done anything outside of that. You know, and I pride myself on being a really good cook. You know, so
yeah,
I know how to use the tongs and the utensils and the spatulas, and I do wear gloves when I get the things out the
safety.
oven. Yeah, safety's first, and I do got a hat.
Okay, we've got Wes on our
April.
phone line. Wes,
Okay.
you've got like 30 seconds. Tell us the story
now.
Oh, man, you made it sound like it was such a big thing, but it really wasn't that big. But, yeah, she was cleaning a window in her daughter's bedroom and apparently found the pressure point on the window. And next thing I knew, she went from being in her daughter's bedroom to being on the front porch.
Jeez.
Wow.
And
she's okay, though,
yeah,
obviously.
we went to the hospital. Oh, yeah, she's okay. She got 9 stitches. The stitches got infected, but the wound did not. Everything is good, but it can happen, and it is crazy when it does.
Thank you for the call, Wes. Yes. Stay away from broken glass, sharp glass.
And they will not find the pressure points in the window.
Stay away from barbecues, apparently. That'll do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Barry Trotz joins us at 4. Elliot Freeman joins us at 5. So we got a lot of hockey talk
Double
tomorrow.
barrel action.
We will get back to the Titans
and
as
tonight,
well.
We have a lot of hockey talk.
Yes.
Tonight.
Preds Insiders with me and Willie coming up at 7. But Smashville Live, I almost forgot the name of the program. Smashville Live with Ryan O'Reilly and Matt Wood coming up next.
Be love on your people. Have a safe, blessed, wonderful Wednesday. I love you. The team love you. You hear that music. Don't you ever forget about us because we will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. on 102.5. Peace.